When do we ever leave? We're ready to rock and roll for another week of rugby league action. Hey guys, how you going? Set it down, BKRsport. We are live for round 16 of the NRL. We've got all this World Cup action that we are slapping down. But gee whiz, we had Origin on Wednesday. That was a pump up the mighty Maroons. And now we get back into the week-to-week rugby league before we find the decider in about 2.5 weeks' time now. Really looking forward to that one. We've got an interesting game here today between the Newcastle Knights, who come into this one in 7th, and the St George Illawarra Dragons, who come into this game from 17th position, so 10 spots lower, which unfortunately is in the old Last and Mordos place. But hopefully the Dragons can, well, we'll see. As a Titans fan, I don't really want the Dragons to fire up too much here. I want you to stay as far away from us as possible, please. But no, look, hopefully we get a good game here. There's not any players that actually there is a player out due to Origin. That is Kalen Ponga for the Newcastle Knights, which is a big out there for Newcastle, but they do have the cover where they're putting Fletcher Sharp into the fullback here today, which is interesting for mine. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's what you got to do, what you've got to do, man. So let's find out how this one works out. But we do have a whole bunch of games this week. We are back to not a full game slate, the full 8 games. We have 7 games. There is 3 byes this round, which is the Broncos, the Eels, and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So all 3 of those teams are going to be getting some nice, handy 2-pointers. I tell you what, the Rabbitohs need it right now as they situate themselves on the edge of the 8. The Eels, obviously, they're down there in 3rd last, but it will push the Broncos. Well, no, it'll actually push the Raiders into 3rd last here, with the Eels and Broncos jumping. Well, the Eels actually don't jump out of the bottom 4. They go to 4th last, and the Broncos will jump into 13th. So not much changing down there. But point matter is the Rabbitohs, they really need their bye right now because they have been on a bit of a difficult stretch, but that will be their final bye of the season. Now, let's get into this game. Well, we're going to get through the games this round, and then we'll obviously go through the 2-team lineups, and then we'll get into the ladder, and then we'll get into the chat and see what you guys are saying. So the game starts in 45 minutes time. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Don't forget, be here bright and early tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely massive as Australia take on the United States of America in the first game of the day tomorrow, which will be at 5 a.m. your time, is when Australia take on the Americans. It's going to be an absolute belter. Whoever wins that tops the group. So if Australia win, we will top the group. If Australia lose, well, we're not even actually guaranteed through quite just yet. But we will obviously have to see how that pans out. And if we draw, we're pretty much through, just not in first, guaranteed. And then it will come down to the game against Paraguay next week. So we've got that one. We've also got 3 other World Cup games we're doing, and then we move into the rugby leagues. We've got a huge weekend that we're going to be doing this weekend, getting around it. So the first game here, obviously Knights and Dragons. You would assume the Knights probably win this one when we go through these 2-team lineups and you talk about the season form. You would probably assume the Knights win this one. Hopefully it's a good game, but it's going to be quite difficult to see it. The Saturday games, we've got 3 Saturday games because there was no Thursday game and there's no early Friday game. This is the only game here today. To start off, we've got the West Tigers taking on the Dolphins. The Tigers coming off a win against the Titans. Look, Dolphins, realistically, they're in some really good form at the moment, but this was about the time last year where they did start to fall away and fall off the train track. So, got to be careful of that one, but they currently sit up there in top 4 right now. That should be a very, very good game there, where the Tigers are getting back the likes of Psychotic South for a start. But the Dolphins are in some pretty good form. I'm not too sure how many of the Origin players will be backing up there. However, then you've got the Titans versus Panthers game, which on its merit, 16th versus 1st, does not look great there at Seabus Super Stadium. However, the Titans haven't been as awful this year, but they do still find a way to make me. They absolutely rage bait me every week, that's for sure. But this was one of the games of the season last year at Seabus, where it was 24-0 to the Panthers at halftime. Titans came back to lead 26-24 before the trainer decided to get in the way and interrupted and obviously create a bit of a shenanigans. And the Panthers found a way to win that game with an Nathan Cleary field goal. But that was one of the games of the season last year. So maybe we could see something again, but obviously you are leaning towards the Panthers there. But Nathan Cleary, Isaiah and Brian To'o are out. However, they also still beat the Warriors when they had those guys out. So I'm not expecting Jack at the moment, but hoping for the best. Then we've got the Bulldogs versus Manly. A rivalry game there. Bulldogs desperate for a win. Manly, they're not desperate for a win. They're in 3rd position right now. They're pretty happy, but a win keeps them up there pumping alongside the Warriors, and they'd be very happy with that. So, big game there for the Bulldogs, though. I feel like if they lose that game, then their season just is done. I think their season is done. They're on 5 wins. I feel like For mine, there is still a long way to go here. There's still 11 rounds to go. But if you're on 5 wins by the end of this round, the top 8 is essentially all going to... Well, the top 8 is already on 8 wins. The Cowboys are in 9th position with 8 wins. The Rabbitohs will have to buy. They're on 7 wins, however. But the top 8 will be, at the very minimum, 3 wins away from you. So that is just a lot to expect all these other teams to lose, and then for you to go on these massive, massive runs. I feel like you need to have at least 6 wins behind you and on your belt going into this round, really, which ultimately does say goodbye to quite a few teams down there, and also the Broncos and Eels, who don't even get to play this round. They'll end up on 5 by the end of it. But I just feel like it's getting a little bit too hard basket, where you have to rely too much on other teams to lose, and obviously you just need to pump along. But the Bulldogs, again, desperate. Warriors and Cowboys are the first game on Sunday in Christchurch. We've got some big news today that Christchurch is the favourite to come in as the 20th team over the next couple of years. That's exciting stuff. Obviously, we get Papua New Guinea next year. We get Perth Bears next year, Papua New Guinea the year after that in 2028, and then I would assume in 2029 or 2030 is when we'll get that South Island New Zealand team, which is just awesome for the rivalry there. It'll create a lot more opportunities for the game in New Zealand, and they're really trying to pillage the domestic game of Super Rugby at the moment in a vulnerable time. So that's exciting news, and this game is at Christchurch between 2 teams that you just don't know what's going to happen. You would expect the Warriors to win 2nd versus 9th. The Cowboys, they just do their job, and just doing their job typically gets them over the line more often than not this season. I don't think it's desperation win here for the Cowboys, and definitely not for the Warriors. Warriors, it's desperate if you want to think about getting a minor premiership, even though I think that's probably a little bit too hard basket. But the Cowboys, you just need to keep on that pressure in the top 8, because right now you are top 8. You do have more wins, but that does rely upon, say, the Rabbitohs losing that game in hand, because otherwise the Rabbitohs will be above you. So that's a very big game there on Sunday. Then we move into another big game. We have the Storm take on the Raiders at AAMI Park in Melbourne. Slight little rivalry here. Raiders, desperate times, desperate measures. Storm, not quite desperate times, but desperate enough. You know, they are on the borderline of that top 8 right now. They've actually got 6 wins, which is only 1 win behind the Rabbitohs and 2 wins behind the rest of the competition. If they are to win that game, they are breathing down the neck of that... They're breathing down the neck of that top 8, and it will get really, really juicy for them. So that's a big one there for those 2 teams. And then we finish off the round with Roosters versus the Sharks, which is just scam central. That's just fraud alert central, mate. That is just scam, fraud alert central. I'm happy. I'm happy to put either of these teams, whoever loses. You know what? I'm going to do it. Whoever loses this game on Sunday, you're getting scam. You're going straight to scam. I don't care that you're off a scam because you're on it 2 weeks ago, and I don't care that you're on fraud. You're going scam. Whoever loses that, you're going on scam. I'm putting it out there right now. It's all to play for. It's the battle of the scam on Sunday at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. Now we move to the game that is starting here today, which is the Newcastle Knights taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons. The Knights come into this game from 7th, Dragons from 17th, and this is at McDonald's Jones Stadium in Newcastle. Now the ins here for the Knights, Bradman Best, James Schiller, Sandon Smith, and Tyson Gamble, with the outs being Dylan Lucas, Jermaine McEwen, Kalen Ponga, and Pasami Saulo. The fullback today is Fletcher Sharp. He shifts in from the 5'8" due to Kalen Ponga being out. He is now the fullback, with the wingers being Dominic Young and Greg Martiu, centres of Dane Gagai and Bradman Best. You go to the 5'8", which is Sandon Smith, comes in from the 20th man, comes into that 5'8", and the halfback is Dylan Brown. Front row forwards are Jacob Saifidi, the captain, alongside Trey Mooney, and the number 9 is Phoenix Crossland. The back row, Thomas Kant and Francis Manolalua, with the 13 being Matty Croker. You go to the interchange, Harrison Graham, Tyson Frizzell, Cody Hopwood, Fletcher Hunt, Tyson Gamble, and James Schiller, with the there's no 18th man replacement. Sorry, my brain just went to that from last year. But then with the coach being Justin Holbrook. This Newcastle Knights team, obviously, they're flying this year. They won the Wooden Spoon, came last year, but they've been much more exciting this year. I wouldn't say they're a guaranteed product by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, they're coming off a bye and then a loss to the Melbourne Storm, 32-30. That was okay, but at the end of the day, I know you only lost by 2 points, but at the end of the day, the Melbourne Storm haven't exactly been spectacular, and they got 32 points there, and it kind of proved to me again that this Knights defense isn't that fantastic if the other team has the ball. I think this Knights team, when they've got the ball and when they're attacking, they are more than likely going to score. They are a potent attack. It is very clinical. However, I don't fancy their defense. I really, really don't. I haven't all throughout this season so far, and I think a lot of their games where they've got those low scores against them is more so due to the fact that they are just forcing the pressure. They've got the possession, and that's the best way to defend. So at the end of the day, their best defense is coming through their high electric attack. But if they are forced to defend, more often than not, they are still giving up those points, which is what you can see in that Storm game. Still only beat the Eels 28-22. That was a win, but it wasn't the greatest of performances. When they played the Titans, I really truly believe if they played a better team that day, they would have been smashed as well. The Titans were the better team for a good 40 minutes there before the Titans became the Titans and just completely dropped off the face of a cliff. And in that first 40 minutes, they still couldn't attack. They're one of the worst attacking teams of the competition this year, the Gold Coast Titans. So I think 36-12 is great, but it didn't necessarily reflect how that game played out for the most part. But with that being said, they were deserved winners because the Titans just simply weren't good enough as per usual. Beat the Dragons 44-10. That is completely expected. And then you go back to another game where they played the Rabbitohs and won 42-38. Great, you got 2 points. Great, you scored 42 points, but you still gave up that 38 points, which is the worry. And then the 44-12 loss to the Panthers, which is a worry. And the 38-24 loss to the Roosters when you're up 24-12 at halftime, that is a worry. And the 42 points you gave up against the Tigers when you lost 42-22, that is a worry. Since round 6, they've been giving up a lot of points. 42, 38, 44, 38. The 2 last place teams of the Dragons and Titans, 10 and 12. And then the 3rd last team in the Eels, 22. And then the 6th last place team in the Melbourne Storm, 32. So they are giving up a lot of points. And if you go to the ladder to look at where the points differential sits in regards to their defense. So they're situated after playing 13 games. They've got a 338 points against them. So that's behind the Panthers, the Warriors, Manly, Dolphins, Sharks. These are all the same amount of games, by the way. Roosters, also the Rabbitohs, the Bulldogs, and 1 point better than the Titans. 1 point better. So they are in 8th position. Or is that 9th? I think they might actually be 9th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, no, 8th. 8th because it is 9th because the Bulldogs. Yeah. So they are in 9th whilst the Titans are in 10th there. So that's where the Knights sit defensively. Attacking wise on the other side, they've got 370 points, which is behind the Panthers, the Warriors, the Dolphins, the Rabbitohs. So they're in 5th right now. That's it. So they're 5th best attack and they're the 9th best defense as we currently speak. So that's, I guess that makes a lot of sense in regards to where they are in 7th position. It doesn't always work out like that. You've got your 5, you've got your 9 right in the middle. There you go. They're in 7th position. So that makes a lot of sense to where they are on the table, which is a great sign. You're very happy with whatever happens in this season, regardless if you're a Knights fan, considering the travesty that was last year. So there is definitely room for concern with Newcastle at the moment. However, they are going up against a team here that if they lose this, then the concern is completely valid and they really just shouldn't be losing this game. They just shouldn't be losing this. But could the Knights pull a surprise and lose it? I wouldn't completely be shock horrid, but against the Dragons, just surely not. So the Knights, they come in here and they should just be getting a win. Now, let's move to the Dragons now, where they're in 17th. They are in rock bottom last, unfortunately. The ins here are Emre Gula and Luchan Leilua, with the outs being Jaden Sewer and Nathan Lawson. Fullback is Clint Gutherson, with the wingers being Setu Tu and Matthew Fiane. Centers of Moses Sully and Valentine Holmes. The 5'8" is Daniel Atkinson, with the halfback being Kyle Flanagan. Front row forwards are Locko Jr., Pacific Tonga, and Toby Couchman, with the number 9 being Damien Cook, who is the captain. The back row, Dylan Egan and Hamish Stewart, with the 13 being Ryan Couchman. And the interchange is Jacob Little, Luchan Leilua, Josh Kerr, Blake Laurie, Emre Gula, and Tyrell Sloan, with the coach being Dean Young. What do we expect out of this Dragons team? They are not in full rebuild mode just yet. I'm sure that they have to be doing that post this season, especially with the fact that they've got Drinkwater coming in. They've got Phil Sami coming in. Not that he's super young, but they've got these, and not that Drinkwater's super young, but they've got these guys coming across. They've got Luke Metcalf, who is obviously on a lot younger overall, but this Dragons team does need to start moving in this different direction, because it's all well and good that you change from Shane Flanagan to Dan Young, but you have to now implement those changes. Implement those changes towards the back end of this year, and then obviously into next year. Because you've got to remember, Dragons fans, if you're looking to sign anybody right now, and this goes for the rest of the comp, but specifically for the teams at the bottom of the competition, if you aren't developing from within, you are in a real shit out of luck situation. Because we've got the Perth Bears, who are high on the market right now, not that they're really being able to pick up anybody. We've also got Papua New Guinea, who is taking whoever they can who are definitely an upper age. They're definitely older guys that the Papua New Guinea is signing right now. But you've got Papua New Guinea on the market, and they've got a lot of advantages to provide over the likes of the Dragons. And then you've also got this new team of the South Island New Zealand team that is likely to be coming in as well. So there is a lot of difficulties here for teams that are down the bottom of the table. At the very least, the Dragons have made a little bit of a signing spree for next year in the likes of Kolomatangi, Drinkwater, Phil Sami, and also Luke Metcalf. So they've kind of got that out of the way in a lot of ways. However, if you're looking for others, it's going to be very, very difficult over these next couple of years. So it's not even a conversation specifically for the Dragons there. It's for everyone, and especially teams in the bottom 8 who are looking to improve and put themselves into better step by getting those depth players. Or you're not going to be signing those stars, but finding those depth players or those older players or extremely young up-and-coming rising talents kind of deal. You do need to get a bit of a move on right down well now. So the Dragons, obviously, they come into this game, and it just has been poor so far this season, and it has been poor in recent weeks too. Obviously, the Sharks game where they lost 34-12, that wasn't good. They were leading at halftime too in that game. The Sharks, but when they're on, and they killed them in the second half. The Broncos game ended 30-26. That was their only win of the season so far. The Broncos have been on a massive skid of epic proportions at the moment. They lost the Warriors 30-12. They lost the Pen. Gee whiz, hold on. Dude, I'm dying. I'm dying here. Hold on, let me have a drink. Dear me. They lost the Panthers 28-6. They lost the Knights 44-10. The Roosters 62-16. The Rabbitohs 30-12. The Manly Seagulls 28-18. 32-0 against the Cowboys. 22-14 against the Titans. 30-20 against the Eels, 46-20 against the Storm, and 15-14 against the Dogs. So, their only win comes against the Broncos, and it's not like the Broncos of last year. They went on to lose to the second last place Titans a week after as well. That's how poor form they are in, and that's actually been the same result 3 years in a row at Suncorp Stadium with the Dragons and Broncos being 30-26. And again, the Broncos won the comp last year. The Dragons finished in third last, and they still actually beat the Broncos 30-26 at Suncorp Stadium. So you look at these results and you just go, you just surely don't see the Dragons getting up here. They've still got Kyle Flanagan and Daniel Atkinson, which Daniel Atkinson was the new signing from the Sharks last year. It doesn't necessarily mean that Dean Young is a high fancy of him. Cade Reed is injured, I believe, right now. Is what the Dragons fans have been telling me on streams. Don't really kind of get around these halves at all. I think the spine needs to be really adjusted. Cook's off next year. Gutherson, I'm sure he's on the way out sometime soon. And these two halves just don't really get it out of you too much here. You replace Gutho with Drinkwater. Obviously, Jacob Little, I'm sure, just comes straight into that 9 unless you've signed somebody else. You got Connor Watson coming in for next year for like a 1-year loan before he goes to Papua New Guinea. Cade Reed, I guess, is your halfback, and I'm sure then Daniel Atkinson, I guess, is your 5'8". So whilst there is room for a little bit of excitement for next year, there is still a lot of problems that need to be worked through here from Dean Young and this organisation. But I ultimately believe that the biggest problem at St George Illawarra is both the organisations. I think that it is internal. I don't necessarily believe it's the coach. I think that the coach definitely is a face of the problem, and I think that Shane Flanagan, his time was done. But anybody who thought that was just going to immediately rectify the issues and the Dragons were going to go start winning, you need to know a little bit more about what you're talking about, because it just was never going to be happening with this playing group. However, the reason why Shane Flanagan still essentially needed to go was because this is his playing group. So he has designed this playing group, but also the organisation for mine is still the real rotten core of it all. For example, New South Wales, Laurie Daly, he's not good. Laurie Daly is not a great coach. Even when they won game 1, the criticism was still there because they were lucky to get it. And in game 2, it really has blown up now, and it's been blowing up for a few years. But it's not even necessarily Laurie Daly the thing that's wrong with New South Wales. It is internal, because who decided to sign Laurie Daly as their coach post Michael Maguire, who was 1-4, 1 from his 5 series as New South Wales coach is all he won. So why would you go back to an ex that was a proven loser for the state in regards to the coaching position? Unbelievable player, unbelievable reputation as a player in the game, but as a coach, he has never had a good reputation here at Origin level. So it just made no sense to me. And that's the same point that I'm making here in regards to the Dragons, where they are constantly putting themselves, whether it be Dragons or Illawarra, and obviously them coming together and thinking who's the big dog, and both of them thinking they're the big dog. Point of matter is that there are significant issues internally here that they need to rectify before they just start thinking that it is just simply the coaches or just simply is the players. It is the players, it is the coaches, but that's also your decision as an organisation, and you've set this club down a disaster class over a long time now. It's been a while. They won the premiership in 2010, but they also haven't made the finals since 2019 now, and they're quite likely to get the wooden spoon if things don't change around very, very quickly. So I'm going to take the Knights here. I'm going to say the Knights win this one. I don't really like the halves pairing of Sandon Smith and Dylan Brown, but I do think that they should still just be able to get this win, especially since they beat them by 40-odd points a few weeks prior. I don't think the Dragons are as bad as they were at some points this year, but they're still pretty rough. So I'm going to take the Knights here to win this one pretty confidently. In regards to the ladder, so the Dragons, they are in 17th position on 6 points. They've got 1 win. They've got a minus 243 points differential. Fun fact for you, they do not have the worst defense in the comp. That goes to the Parramatta Eels right now, so it's gone back to that. But minus 243, that is absolutely deplorable right now, and nowhere close to even the Eels or the Titans or the Broncos. They are over double the Broncos and the Titans, and they are 100 worse off than the Eels. So that's a bad situation, and that's why, even though if they win here today, they'd only be 1 win behind the Titans, the points differential is swung by about 150, 160 right now. So that essentially adds up to another game. It means that you need to win 3 games, and the Titans don't win. You need to win 3 more games than the Titans do this season. That's what the Dragons need to do to avoid the spoon right now. And God forbid you lose a game and the Titans go and win a game, right? So if the Dragons lose this, they will be still in last position on the 1 win and their points differential, God bless. If they win this game, they are still in last position. They'll only be 1 win behind the Titans. But again, you need to fix that points differential, because otherwise you are essentially 2 wins behind them. Even though you technically won, the points differential adds that extra game. But either way, you're in 17th regardless. Knights, on the other hand, they're on 20 points, which is equal with the Sydney Roosters, the Cronulla Sharks, the Redcliffe Dolphins, and the Manly Seagulls. They've got a plus 32 points differential, which is actually the worst of the lot. The Knights plus 32, Roosters plus 35, Sharks plus 64, Dolphins plus 115, and Manly plus 117. So if the Knights are to win this game, they would, for the time being, jump above the Sharks, the Roosters, the Dolphins, and also Manly into 3rd position. However, the Sharks and the Roosters both play each other. So one of those 2 teams will go back above you. So you will be in 4th position. Manly play the Bulldogs. If they win that, which you would assume right now with their form, you would go into 5th position. The Dolphins play the Tigers due to form. You'd probably expect that the Dolphins probably win that game. You go to 6th position, and that is where you would end the round if they all went against you. Again, you can finish anywhere from 4th to 6th this round. With a win, because no matter what, you will jump one of the Sharks and Roosters, but you won't jump the both of them unless there was a draw on that game, and then you obviously got the win. So anywhere from 4th to 6th, but it would just keep yourself, and you would actually go equal with the New Zealand Warriors. But you're on plus 32, they're plus 152. They're above you by 120 right now. Actually, points differential wise as well, you could still I should clarify this. If you win and the Roosters win, but you win by 4 points more than what the Roosters beat the Sharks by, you would also jump the Roosters. So there is actually a chance of you finishing in third this round. But again, you would need the Bulldogs to beat Manly. You would need the Tigers to beat the Dolphins. And then you would need the Roosters to beat the Sharks by like maybe 2 points, and then you win by 6 points, and then you would actually finish in third. So a little bit too much to ask for there. You need a lot of things to go your way. But with that being said, third is a chance. If you lose this game, however, now it's starting to get a bit scary because the Rabbitohs have the bye. So no matter what, you will drop below them. They've got a plus 86, you've got a plus 32. Knights will go into 8th position. The Cowboys are 2 points below you, and so are the Tigers. Cowboys play the Warriors. They're on minus 13. As long as you don't get beaten heavily, this is you would need a 41-point swing for you to go below the Cowboys. The Cowboys need to win by enough, and Knights have to lose by enough there. So it's unlikely, but there is a chance you would be equal with them, which would be a nerve-wracking experience, and you've already got the same amount of wins as them. So if they were to win their game against the Wars, well, then they will be above you on wins, but still below you due to the fact that the points differential plays. And then the Tigers, they're on minus 70. So they can tie you. They can come up there and tie you alongside... They can come up there onto the 20 points, but also their minus 70, their points differential is pathetic right now. So it's very, very unlikely. So long story short, the lowest that I can see you finishing, because you're not getting pumped here. If you do, it's embarrassing. The lowest I can see you finishing in is 8th. Unless the Cowboys just smash the Warriors. And I just don't see that happening. So it's either potentially 3rd to 6th, or it's 8th or 9th, basically, but pretty much just 8th. And if the Dragons, it's last, and if you win, it's also still last. So there's the preview here for today's game, guys. The game starts in 18 minutes' time. Obviously, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here. We've got Scotty James with a dono to kick off the bloody weekend, son. Kick it up with a bang, Scotty. And he goes, who do you have win the premiership this year with a $2 donation? I think you know exactly who I'm going to be going with here, Scott. I'm pretty certain you know. Scott, let's not be cheeky. Let's not be silly now. Who do you think I think is winning the comp this year? Outside of the Titans, who are the obvious favourites right now being in first position, I'm thinking it's probably the Panthers, mate. I really do. There's just nobody else that I can really see right now. You know, the Warriors, they proved a great chance against the Panthers a couple of weeks ago, and there was no Gatewell for the Wars and no Mitchell Barnett, but the Panthers, they also had no Nathan Cleary, they had no Brian To'o, and they had no Isaiah Yeo, and still went and won that game and did what they do. They're kind of happy to nearly throw away a second half and still find a way to win the game. They did against the Dolphins, who are a good team, in 4th, and they did against the Warriors, who are a good team, in 2nd. So this Panthers team, they know how to throw away a second half and still win. And if they don't throw away the game in the second half, they win by 50. You know, so I just don't know who beats them. I just don't. I know Manly played them close, and I know the Dolphins played them close, and I know the Warriors played them close, but the key thing here is not we saw an upset. The key thing is here we saw them win. The only diabolical, controversial thing that I have to say is that they randomly lost to the Bulldogs, and it's like, how the bloody gee whiz you're losing to the damn well Bulldogs? But that is just what it is. I just don't think this team loses at the moment. That maybe they do, and it will be a massive shock. I'll sit here on stream during that finals game, and I'll just be like, what the fuck we just watched there, champion? But I don't think we're going to be seeing that. I don't think so. So that's my thoughts there, Scott. Thank you for the $2 donation. Jake said this is going to be a bigger blowout than Panthers versus Tigers. Yeah, don't think so. Don't think so. I think it definitely could be a blowout, but don't think so. Edward says Queensland winning game 3. I believe so, yes. I believe so. I believe they should be favourites. I believe they won't be favourites, even just because the media always circle jerks New South Wales. But I do think that Queensland should be favourites. Edward says, are you awake all night for this football? Yes, I'll be awake. 1:30 a.m. my time is when we start off for the Australia versus USA game. And then we've got Scotland versus Morocco, Brazil versus Haiti. And then we enter the final game, which is our group, Turkey versus Paraguay. If we beat USA and Turkey get a result, as in win or draw against Paraguay, Australia are guaranteed top of the group. The only way we're not top of the group, guaranteed, with a win over the USA is if Paraguay win, because we play them next week, and then it would just come down to us not losing. Because if we lost, we'd finish in second. But if we won, we'd finish in first. Or if we drew, we'd finish in first. That's the only way. But yeah, tomorrow's day, we'll be live for 7 games tomorrow, man. We'll be live for 7 games. It's going to be just a big-time day. So put your seatbelt on, put your feet up, and get ready to rock and roll. Because we've also got Titans, Panthers, Tigers, Dolphins, and who's the third game tomorrow? Is it Dogs, Manly? It is Dogs Manly. Yeah. And then I'll get a couple of hours sleep, and we'll be jumping also straight into, I think it's Netherlands. The Netherlands game at midnight my time. Yeah, man, we're going hard in this FIFA World Cup. We're turning this channel into not just rugby league. We're permanently rugby league, and we do every single game, but we are also going to be doing a lot more football content. So we'll jump straight into Netherlands, Sweden, and Germany, Ivory Coast, get some sleep, and then we'll be live for the Warriors game in the morning. I can't do Tunisia versus Japan, even though I'd really like to. Brett Olsen says, how's it from New Zealand Knights try scorers? How's it from New Zealand? No, okay, so you've gone how? Let's put comments here, guys, or question marks to separate, because he's saying how's it from New Zealand, and then Knights try scorers with the question mark. Let's try and use the old commas, please. That'd be nice. Try scorers today for the Newcastle Knights. I'm going to go with cheeky little Brabham Best. I don't think that he's been at his best this year. I'm going to go Brabham Best. I think that obviously he's been injured as well. That's why he hasn't been his best, so forgive me. Brabham Best coming back from an injury. I'm backing him in for a try here. A bit of bing, a bit of bong. He's gone up against a pretty weak Dragons defense. So I'll go Brabham Best. And then I'll go into the forwards, and I'll look towards, I never get excited by the nice forwards in regards to try-scoring ability. I never get extremely excited about this. I'm not really liking Thomas Kant and Francis Malolua. I'll watch them both score here today now. I'm not massive on the old Trey Mooney or Jacob Saifidi. Matt Croker. Well, you know, Cooper Johns is trying to get him the most followers in the NRL right now. Maybe that fires him up to get a result here. I'm really not that thrilled, though, in regards to this Newcastle Knights 4-pack try-scoring wise, even though they absolutely can. They absolutely can. Gee whiz, that's a tough one. You know what? I'm going to go with a Matty Croker to get over the stripe. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say he falls over. Just get him over, you dogs. Get Matty Croker over. So I'll go Brabham Best and Matt Croker. And then for the Dragons, backline, I'm looking towards maybe like a Moses Sully. He can have either a really good game or a really poor game. Nice defense isn't spectacular. Setutu is probably a good shout. Moses Sully's on the inside of Setutu. I'll go Moses Sully, but I'm not exactly too thrilled about the backline of the Dragons either. And then for the forwards, I'm probably going to smash in. Well, Locko's not scored yet. Jeez, these forwards don't get you rocking either. Dylan Egan or Hamish Stewart. I'm going to go with the back rower here. No, you know what? I'm going to go risky. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going Jacob Little off the bench. Sue me. Take me to court. Don't think you will, because you know it's coming off. I'm backing into Jacob Little off the bench. Gee whiz, look at me go. If I pick that off the bench, it's basically as good as... Gee whiz, I picked Stefano Utukamano that one time. I'll remember that for years, lads. I am telling you, I will remind you about that for years. When I picked out Stefano Utukamano's first ever try in Melbourne, you will never forget it, because I will never damn well forget it. Ash Klein, sorry, I forgot a comment here. Benny West says, if BT... IPLG score, then TTB. Can we go with names here, lad? Oh, appreciate you, Benny. But can we use the names here? I don't want to have to do the mathematician, real statistician, buddy, English professor research to know who BT, IT, IP, LG, TTB, X, TKCT are, brother. But he says, I'll send you $333 tomorrow night. So I hope so. I hope that'd be great, Benny. I appreciate that. I've already harnessed some of your good frequency. Together we have a chance. Yeah, appreciate you, Benny. Yeah, fire it up. I would love you to actually let me know the names instead of just BT, IT, IP, LG. Sounds we're doing like the ABCDEFG song there. But hopefully we see a nice little cheeky 3-3 tomorrow night, because that means you've won big yourself. Ash Klein says, gee whiz, Ash Klein's back in the chat. G'day, folks. Feeling sore after Origin? You're a muppet. Can't back up tonight, but don't fear. You're in good hands tonight with the dream team of Jared Sutton, Casey Badger, and Chris Butler. Yeah, you're getting a timeout for 5 minutes just because, Ash Klein. Look, you're on the same level of lag and ball sacks here on the channel where you just need to get timed out. Like, it just has to happen, Ash. Just has to happen, and I'm not even sorry about it. We'll see in 5 minutes. I'm not even sorry about it. Edson says, he said, how's it from New Zealand Knights? It's Warriors and Newcastle Knights, mate. No, so again, it's just because he didn't put the comma in the question. I knew what he was saying. It's just, yeah, Brent, commas, question marks. They're nice. They are pretty good to see. Brenton still Blaze up the Monday nights. Greg and Brady to combine for 3+ tries today. Brenton, don't want to hear from you unless you're waking up for the Socceroos tomorrow morning. Don't want to hear from you, son. And I don't want to hear from you, son, unless you're waking up for the damn well. Oh, Moses Sully's out with a warm-up back injury. Moses Sully has been confirmed out, so I'm going to change my try scorer. Gee whiz. Well, I'm going Setu then. I'm going Setu. Moses Sully has just been ruled out with a warm-up back injury here for the Dragons. Jeez, it goes from bad to worse here for St George Illawarra. I'm going Setu then. You've backed me into a corner. You backed me into a corner. You have. Okay, big fellow, kind of Saints for the upset. Good luck, Nate. Good luck. Eden says, Nate, this is the only time I'll tip the Dragons. I got them to win 26-20. Why? Why, as a Broncos fan? Jack Lewis says, fancy Dom Young to score a hattie today. Wonder what the price is. Yeah, look, that could definitely be the go. I think Dom Young might have scored a hat trick actually back in their recent matchup about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Let me go and have a look. Let me go and look. I feel like he may have. I think he had a big-time game in that one. Where is it? Nice Dragons, 44-10 at Wollongong. No, that was Greggy Martiu. That's right. Greggy Martiu had a 5-try game. First try, third try, and the last 3 tries of the game was all Greg Martiu. Dominic Young scored 1. So maybe that's a little bit of an insight for you guys. The last time these two teams played at Wollongong about 5 weeks ago, Greg Martiu scored 5 tries. So if you want to get on a bit of a sneaky, well, Greggy Martiu. Bit of Greggy Martiu action. Check, we read that. Nate says, can't only fire up. XOP says, hey, look, it's the Wars versus Cowboys. Yeah, not the Wars versus the Cowboys here today, mate. Yeah, no, it's not. But they do play tomorrow, though. Yes. No, no, they don't play tomorrow. I'm a liar. I'm a filthy little liar here. They play on Sunday. Yes. Damn straight, Nate. Let's see throwing these Knights. Brenton says, most fairy tales say the Knight defends the castle to save the Queen from the dragon. Yeah, but fairy tales are essentially like, Santa Claus, right? And, we all know how that story ends. And, Tim Allen, the Santa Claus died. He fell off the roof and Tim Allen became him. And that's a fake Santa Claus, mate. So, that's the same equivalent. I'm just drawing the line between the two. I think it's pretty obvious there, Brenton. XOP says up the Knights. Nate says the Dragon has eaten the Queen tonight. Whoa. Let's settle down here in the chat. Deary me. Let's relax. What are we concerned about? I'm concerned about your defense. I'm not concerned about this game. I'm concerned about your defense. I know what you're talking about in regards to when I was talking about the Knights. I'm concerned about the defense long term. I'm not concerned about the defense today. Didn't get a bloody A-Blaze notification. Well, you got to put all notifications on. You got to make sure you've got all notifications on if you want a notification. Nath, I think Thomas can tonight. Well, we'll see. Brandon says, bold take, Nath. He hasn't played much first grade this year. Jeremy says, bloody pay a shitload for Fox and they just pump us full of ads. Yeah, that's what happens. Eden says, you also have Couch and Bro, Stuart Atkinson too. All they're young, I think. Yeah, they're all pretty young. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let me just skip through a couple of these comments here because I would be well behind the old live chat. My ears, please don't say my name. I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, say that name. Oh, Ash Klein. Yeah, no, unfortunately, he's a subscriber on the channel. We have to slap him every single time. Yeah, we do. By the way, if you guys can hear music again today, it's because there is another event this weekend that is outside. It's like a big Red Bull motorbike event that's happening just outside in the same place over there. There's an event every damn well week, mate. There really is. Tiger Hood says, evening all, get ready, Tiger Hood. Adsgain says, they're not going to win, bro. We all know this. They suck. Justin Hume says our defense not the best. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. No, he says you suck, ads. Benny says Clinton needs to order his players around more. He can turn a game, not big but smart. Dragons will win. Stadium is best place ever. Fish after the game. I do like Wynn Stadium. I don't think it's the best stadium, but I think aesthetically, I think it's probably one of the best aesthetically, if not the best aesthetically. But I wouldn't say it's the best ground in general. But it is in a very, very good place. Matson says 13 plus Knights. You would assume so, mate. You would assume so. Keyword is assumed, though. It's not fact. It's not guaranteed, but you would assume so. Nate said I had Lucas and a couple multis had to change one, and one is void. Tiger Hood said I think Dragons keep it close, but Knights by 8 to 12. I think the Knights really should be winning this game 13 plus if they are who they say they are. If you are who you say you are, Newcastle, you should be winning this game. This game pretty significant. Benny said, okay, just thought the captains. Dragons got this. Catch and Cook, Damien Cook. Good luck with that. Patricia says, what's your top four? I don't know. I'm not going to go through the top four. Then we're going to start getting... People will ask me my top 8, and we'll go through here, there, and everywhere. But just ask me individually throughout who I'm fancying kind of deal, because otherwise I have to scroll through and think and all that sort of stuff. And what do you think? I'm here to think or something? You think I'm here to give you like an analysis or something? Shit, whiz. What do you think? Yeah. My drink nearly just fell over. You think I'm here to give you analysis or something? Gee whiz, I'm just here to vibe, Patricia. I'm just here to vibe. But if it's not the Titans, then I don't want to hear about it, really, Patricia. Everyone is expecting a blow at this game, means a close game. That is not necessarily how the NRL works, mate. It's also not how sport works, but also that's how this game could work. But I wouldn't say that's not necessarily how this sport works in regards to that. There is definitely ways that you can use that. The common consensus is typically wrong in certain aspects, but this one, it just makes sense, right? Like this one it just makes sense. If it doesn't happen, that is pure NRL, but I wouldn't be going... I'm not going against the common consensus here. Like I'll go against it from time to time, and I'll actually go against it quite a lot of the time, but I won't be doing that here today. I won't be doing that today. We wouldn't be first because of goal difference, even with a draw. What? Matster, if Australia win today and if Australia win in the morning and Paraguay lose or draw against the Turkish, we are guaranteed first. 100%. Goal difference does not matter. Goal difference does not matter. The tiebreaker is the win-loss. So we've beaten Turkey and we've beaten the USA. Right? On this level. If we beat the USA, then we've beaten the Turkish and we've beaten USA. So that's 6 points right there. Those two teams cannot finish above us. The only other team that could get 6 points and finish above us would be Paraguay. If they beat tomorrow, they went and beat the Turkish, which I find highly unlikely. But if they did that, they're on 3 points, and then they play Australia next week. And then if they won that game, they'd be on 6 points, and that'd be the win-loss over us. We would go down into second position. Right, and there's no way we could finish out of second position. So, no, that is how it works. That we would be in first, yes, with a win. With a draw, it makes it a lot more interesting because goal difference comes into play then with the Americans. But they have only a 1 goal difference better than us. Or are they? Yeah, 3 goals. Jeremy says, get into Nikhil. Get around your Nikhil. Benny says, Moses knocks on every game, but sick player, side speed hair. Don't know what that said. Annie says, Moses still out with the back injury, sliding on the wing. Everyone says, how many times is this bloke going to bring up the Stefano try prediction? Ibrahim, look, jealousy is a sin for starters, and haters are going to hate, Look, I know you couldn't predict Stefano Utukamana for a try. I know a man who once did. He's a legend of the rugby league game. You got to think back through all the years. You think of the guys like your Greg Inglis's. You think you guys like your Cameron Smiths and your Joey Johns and your, oh my gosh, Will Zillmans. And then you look at me, you can see my legs dangling from that prediction of Stefano Utukamana to score a try. It's amazing stuff, really. It's amazing stuff. Surfman says, g'day, like the football coverage, set your alarms. I got timed out. Sorry, go Knights. Get around your Surfman. We will see you on those ones early on tomorrow morning. Leonard Stigan says 100 for Marty today, at least a double for him. Well, he got 5 tries in the last match between the two, so it's a good chance. Ibrahim says, one lucky prediction and he picked Jacob Little. Listen, Ibrahim, you're a hater. I get it. I get you're a hater, but this is what happens when people see just utmost success. This is tall poppy syndrome. You know, I know you can't predict Stefano with Tukamanu. If Jacob Little scores here today, it's the end of your life here, son. If Jacob Little scores here today, it might just quite literally be the end of Ibrahim. Oh, no. I feel for you. I'm scared for you. Scared for you. Gender says, nice to win by 13 plus. To all the young viewers, Santa is real. Hey, well, in Australia, you're not allowed to be watching this if you're under 16, so it's your fault. If there's some man coming down your chimney, get out of the house. It's not Santa. Crow says, over-under games. I think this should be over, and the Knights should go to themselves, really. But, again, the Dragons can score against this Knights defense, because the Knights defense isn't spectacular. The Knights defense is not spectacular, but the Dragons attack is not that great themselves. Nath says, don't forget to give the stream a like, trendsetters. Exactly right, Nath. Exactly right. Gamer says, how are you? I am okay now. If you ask me this on Sunday during the streams, I'll tell you exhausted. That is what I'll say. That is what I'll be saying on Sunday. Edson says, what's my future top 17 in 2034? Okay, well, there's going to be more teams in the NRL in 2034, sorry. My first team would be eradicating the Brisbane Broncos and bringing in the Antarctican Penguins. I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. Would anyone have a problem with us removing, not relocating, removing the Brisbane Broncos? Sure, we can add in the Ipswich Jets. And instead of the Broncos, we have the Antarctican Penguins. Would anyone have any problems with that? And we're not going to listen to Broncos fans' opinions here. Just everybody else. Would everyone or anyone have a problem with removing the Broncos and adding in the Antarctican team? Removal's the only option, Nath. You're right. When you think about it, like it's a deep thing you got to think about, but you're right. Yeah, not a problem with that, Brenton. I think that's... Edson says, I don't have a problem. The issue here, Edson, is that you are a Broncos fan, and I did stipulate in the rules and regulations here that your opinion doesn't matter in the conversation. So, yeah, we're going to have to remove the Broncos and... Welcome to the Antarctican Penguins. So it's going to be the game starting here. The Dragons will bring this ball out here to the 10 on first tackle. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And give me score predictions in the chat. I'm back in a slap up for the Knights here today. And if it's not, you are going on fraud. If you lose, actually, you know what? You're going on scam. If you lose to the Dragons, you're going on scam. Deary me. Brent Olsen said, I've got $12 bet Knights to get high score, $10,000 back. I've got 12 to bet on the Knights to get high score, $10,000 back. What have you bet on that can receive $10,000 back from a $12 bet? So fit tackle now for the Dragons, and they will get through their first set without an error. It'll be Daniel Atkinson who kicks this ball down to the 10 for Greg Amartiu, and he'll bring it now out to the 25 on first tackle. Silly a late injury. I feel bad for him. He's playing for a contract extension this year. Bless him. I'm pretty certain the Dragons said that he can seek elsewhere. Didn't he? Didn't he say that he could seek... Wasn't there news that Moses Sully was allowed to seek options elsewhere? But anyway, says Greg Inglis and Mark Gadsden are my dream centres. What's yours? Greg Inglis and Mal Meninga. Greg Inglis, Mal Meninga. Third tackle. The Knights are away on the right-hand side. Dane Gagai, who'll be taken down at the 50 on fourth tackle. Already a good opening set here for the Newcastle Knights. Couple of the newest distance derby. Antarctican Penguins versus the PNG Chiefs. Yeah, absolutely. PNG might still be closer than Perth, to be fair, because Perth is basically next door to Beijing and China. It's how far away it is from the rest of the country. But the Dragons will get this ball here at the 10. It'll be first tackle. Everyone says, Edson, a good take for you. Pop the champagne. How about we remove Ashley Klein? Well, how about both? Remove the Broncos and Klein. Now we're talking. Shit, we're a thinker here. You came with a good idea, though, Edson. So we'll add your idea to the other idea, and we'll put them together and sing Kumbaya. Geez, you're a thinker. Get rid of a team and also a referee. Brilliant. Fourth tackle and Setu 2 for the Dragons. He'll bring it out to the 43 now in fifth tackle. Game's just started here. Yep, the game has just started, and Gutherson is going to come up with a wonky little kick, and it'll come back down here to Fletcher Sharp, who's at the 10. He'll bring it out to the 15. To the 20, and they'll be bringing it out from the 25 again. Jess says, good morning from a very warm UK. Oh, that's interesting. Raining in the UK and warm. Not surprising, though, but warm. Beautiful. Newcastle, Greg Amartiu is going to bring this ball to the 30 on second tackle now. Before you ask Jess, because I'm sure you will, and I know Nate's going to be on the same wavelength here, high score. It's what it should be here, because defense is not spectacular. Obviously, it's a top 8 team versus last place as well. Fourth tackle here at the 45, and the last time these two teams played, it was like 44-10 to the Knights. Yeah, but I hope they give him a second chance. He's just a bad year. He's had a rough year. Knights quick passing. Greggy Matthews away. He hit the 50, 45, the 40, and taken down. Fit tackle. Laurie says, did you get some good rest? Well, we will when we're dead. That's what I'll say. Newcastle put that ball up to 15. Caught by Gutherson, and he'll get taken down here at the 17. High score Knights win. You would assume so, Jess. You would assume so. If the Knights don't, they're going on scam. They will go straight on a scam here on the ladder. 1,000,000%. Billion%, really. And I'll look you dead smack in the center of the eyes, Brenton, while I do it. I'll look you in the eyes as I will put scam on top of you if you lose this game. Third tackle now at the 35. Evan says 26 degrees and sunny in England. Do you believe in miracles? It's not true, it's AI. Fourth tackle now at the 40. Fourth tackle. Hold on a second. Let's scroll back up. Kokomo says, I'm on the fence to wake up at 5 a.m. for Oz-USA match. We'll get off the fence, mate, and start having some national pride. How about that? So whack that ball, Daniel Atkinson, down to the 15, and that will go over the sideline for the Knights ball at the 15. I'll just let it bounce over. I'll let it bounce over. Anytime try scorers 2, but no, sorry, not that game. Hurricanes and Chiefs. Laurie says, Dragons or Chiefs might sign Izzy Folau next year. Well, look, I have pretty passionate beliefs about Israel Folau and that he should be allowed. Like, very serious conversation. This first tackle of the Knights, the 20, you allow a guy like Matt Lodge to play. You allow a guy like Ezra Mam to play with limited suspension, mind you. You allow certain players that have been involved in massive assault stuff. And yet you don't allow Israel Folau, who has religious beliefs that you may not agree with. And that's completely fine. They're away here. Dom Young. Oh, it's a try for the Knights. Too easy. Too easy. Dom Young back on the inside of Fletcher Sharp. And that's a try time for Newcastle Knights. Fletcher Sharp, way too easy. That defense wasn't good enough in the Dragons. And it's 4-0 with a kick to come. So I'll go back to this. You allow these kind of players to get their second chances. You allow these kind of players who make really serious mistakes to play. But yet, because you disagree with a man's beliefs, which, again, you are entitled to disagree with his belief system. You are entitled to have an opposite opinion to him. But to refuse him from playing whilst allowing these other guys to play is just disgraceful. And that's unfortunately what this world is. But Fletcher Sharp here with a nice little try. Dom Young breaks down that right wing, gets it back inside, and Fletcher Sharp goes over. I agree, Mel's more class. Fire up, you sad bitch. What? What are you talking about, Benny? Benny's he's on the terms today. He is on the terms today. Even says, Nate, turn the TV off already. Listen, Nathan Annie, I think you're going to need to hold hands to this one. You might have to hold hands to this game right now. You may have to. Sandon Smith doesn't miss. Don't start this, Brenton. Don't do it. Lorena says, wait, mate, was Folau actually barred from the NRL as well? I don't know if they officially said it, the Tigers, but like, essentially, yes. I'm pretty... Oh, did Wayne Pearce say something? I think Wayne Pearce might have said something. I think he may have. One second. Wayne Pearce. Israel Folau. Yes. Yes, Wayne Pearce was meddling to block Israel Folau's return. Folau considering legal action over ARLC over blocked comeback. And they're talking about the double standard. The double standard is crazy, you know, and the NRL... Look, I get it from a publicity standpoint. I get it from a PR when you've got all this inclusivity stuff all around the world. I get it. But also, it is... I'm sure it would be a different story if it was... It's so difficult to talk about it publicly, eh? Like, it would be such a different story with a different situation, which I can't explain what the situation would be, but it would be so different. The point is he's allowed to express his views, and you can agree with that or disagree with that, but if you're not going to allow him in for religious beliefs, that's going to be a penalty to the Knights here at the 20. then why are you allowing people who have done the R word, people who have assaulted others, people who have broken and entered into people's homes in New York, people who have driven under the influence and got into a car crash with a family? You allow them to play, but you don't allow Israel Folau, who has religious beliefs. And there's the issue that I have. So first tackle out the 45, it is suppression. Regardless if you agree or disagree with the opinion, it's suppression. So second tackle now at the 38. 8 minutes gone here, and the Newcastle Knights, they're going to be back onto the attack. Matt Croker to Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown, short ball, and Thomas Kant is going to be 20 metres away from the line. Third tackle. Joyful green goal. Defense optional for this match. That pass from Young. Well, defense optional. We're watching the Dragons, man. You're surprised? Fletcher Sharp, left-hand side. Bradman Best is going to be at the 10 on fourth tackle. Laurie said, I agree too. Sounds like Benji saying yes to Izzy before confirming with the big dogs. Then Benji said in the media wasn't interested before his history was brought up. Yep. Right-hand side, Dane Gagai. He'll be taken down now at the 12 on fifth tackle. And now they'll go to the left-hand side to Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown's going to put that ball up in the air. Caught by the Knights. They get it offloaded. Fletcher Sharp for a double. Fletcher Sharp for a double, and it is 10-0 in with the kick to come. It's about to be 12-0 any moment now. It's about to be 12-0. About to be 12-0. Just dropped it into Bradman Best's lap and gets the ball offloaded, and Fletcher Sharp goes right on over. This is going to get ugly, lads. This is going to get very, very ugly. The Dragons, the defense isn't optional. It's non-existent. It's non-existent. Like it says to me, back when it all happened, it was pretty telling that Senator Pocock never fully condemned him, even though we all know him as being very pro LGBT. Yeah, so I don't want to get down on these I don't want to go down political discussions really, and I don't really want to go down the religious discussions. You guys know I am a Christian. I don't really want to go down these really controversial topics and discussions when we're trying to watch footy and obviously get away from it all. But this is a pretty hefty topic in the game right now, with a very significant figure of it, Israel Folau, who has been unbelievable throughout his time, plus also, did it with the Broncos back in the day in Queensland and the Wallabies and whatnot. And then, we all know about his rugby union stuff. So it is something that we need to talk about. And I do have my strong beliefs behind it. But I don't want it to kind of diverse into conversations about, all that other stuff. He says Christianity the only religion that you can openly trash in public. Also facts. Edson says, Fletcher Sharp really rubbing it in my face at this point. Yeah, it's way too easy for the Knights and way too easy for Fletcher Sharp. He's got a double here, and it's 12-0 to the Newcastle Knights with 30 minutes to go here of the first half. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new around here. Jake's any surprises? Ooh, not from me. Fletcher Sharp today, he's about run amok against the Dragons. What do you mean about? He's already running amok against the Dragons. Benny says, what about Ian Robertson, the abuse he received on and off the field? Credit to him, hard bastard. Absolutely hard bastard. And all fair credit to Ian Roberts and all fair credit to Kane Evans and whatnot and everyone who does come out. It takes a very strong individual to come out in a game like rugby league and in the Australian public and openly admit to homosexuality. That's something that's very difficult, and I respect the strength you have within yourself to be able to do that, because you know how easy it is for the Australian public to come and slap you down. But it's like, I don't have a problem with that at all. Like, if somebody is gay, that is that's them. It's not my. Just don't do it with me. That's my thought process. Even though I'm Christian, it's just I don't really. It's not up to me what you do with your life. At the end of the day, it's not mine to judge. Forward tackle here at the 40 in that way. But I just feel like if you have an opinion that is opposite to what the mainstream allows, you are immediately cancelled very quickly. Fifth tackle now for the Knights. They go to the right side. Dylan Brown knocks that ball on. Dragons get to 50. Blake says, was thinking about the VC on Sharp, but kept it on Marzu. Damn. Yeah, Marzu. Well, he got 5 tries in his last game. So 11 minutes gone here. 5 tries in his last game against the Dragons. You can understand it. But anyway, let's try and get off this conversation now. Obviously, you guys have heard my opinion, and I don't want it to be completely just all about that in this game. Did Sharp get 2 tries? Yes, Sharp has got 2 tries here. I'll come back after the controversy. What controversy? Third tackle now at the 35. And they'll go to the right-hand side. Damien Cook off to Couchman, and Couchman's going to be here at the 25 on fourth tackle. Jack says, is it me or does it look odd seeing a fullback wearing number 6? No, it happens from time to time. It happened quite a bit, actually, at the Newcastle Knights, because when Callum is out, their 6 typically goes back there and Fletcher Sharp. Fifth tackle now at the 20. Fifth tackle at the 20. And quick play the ball there from Damien Cook. That's going to be a 7-tackle set here. Good attempt. Good attempt there, but it will be a 7-tackle set here. 7-tackle set here for the Knights. I reckon Gutho. Brent says Sharp scores 2 times. He's already scored twice. So second tackle here for Newcastle, and they will get this ball to the 30 on their own side of the field. Yeah, Jojo was fantastic in Origin. Jojo is really good to watch. It's so good to see him starting to open up as the player that I've known him, and the Titans fans know him. You know, we all know what Jojo can provide, and it's so good to see him now do it at the Queensland level, where he's going to get those recommendations from everybody, and the belief that people will have behind him, and they'll understand that it's just because he plays for the Titans that he doesn't get the same kind of rapport overall. But Bradman Best on the left wing, he'll be at the 35, on fifth tackle. Back to Sanders Smith, and Sanders Smith with a little ding. It's going to bounce awkwardly here for the Dragons, and Gutho will pick it up, and he'll be taken down to the 5 on first tackle. He already swapped with Val last game. Only good shout for Gutho. Jono says Socceroos by outright destruction. Slap him in. Sharp needs to be... Cook needs to fire up literally mentally. Well, Cook's off to England next year. What is the team? What is the team in England he's going to again? I can't remember. Fourth tackle now, and Couchman gets rocked at the 38. Wow, he just got absolutely plummeted by Trey Mooney. Jojo Fafita picked from Slater the master stroke as a coach. What changes Daly will do next week? Laurie Daly is not going to do jack. And as I said last night, so it's going to be a knock-on here from the Dragons, and Knights get the ball to 45. As I said last night on the Under-19s Origin stream, if Laurie selects Hamoli, whilst that is the right decision in my opinion, because Dylan Lucas should not be in Origin, even though I think he's a great player for the Knights, I don't think he should be in Origin. But if Laurie selects Hamoli, it will tell me one thing. Whilst we will all agree with him, that's the right decision, it will tell me that it's not his decision anymore. He's not making the decision based off of his own mindset, and he is falling accustomed to fan pressure and to media pressure, because he made the decision himself to drop Hamoli Olakau'atu and to put Dylan Lucas in. That is his thoughts. That is his perspective, and that is his opinion as the coach. So now if you see the second game and then decide to bring him back, I don't believe that's your decision and thoughts. I think you are doing that to fan appease, and you're doing that to try and keep your job. I don't think it's because you think that's the best option. And there's the problem. As soon as that happens, that is a significant problem. As soon as you start to go away from what you're meant to be doing and with your belief system, you're being signed for those beliefs and for your coaching prowess, that's when shit hits the fan. It means you're not actually coaching, the fans are. And that is dangerous. Dom Young goes up, knocked back here from the Dragons. That's a try. They're going to check this, but I think this might be a try for Dom Young here. Oh, they're going to see if it's a knock-on first here from Newcastle. I didn't think it was a knock-on first. I could be wrong. I think Dom Young touched... Does he touch it? I think that goes backwards from Dom Young, though. That goes backwards from Dom Young. Here we go. Dom Young. Oh, no, it's a knock-on. No. It's a knock-on. That's a correct call from the referee. That is the correct call. What percentage of Aussie fans do you think will be in the crowd in tomorrow's game? Probably about 15%, 20%, 15% maybe. I think there's about 13,000 Aussies that go with the supporter bay. And then whoever else pillages around. And I don't know how big the Seattle Stadium is. Is it like 70K? So it'd be above, 15% kind of deal. Might be 20%. What even was Daly's previous coaching experience? Having a 1 from 4 series record before he was signed for last year's series. Third tackle now for the Dragons. They'll be at the 40 on their own side of the field. Damien Cook to Carl Flanagan. Then off to Hamish Stewart. He'll be the 45 on the night side of the field. Quick play the ball. At least they're getting quick play the balls here, Dragons. At the very least. Fitz tackled out to 33. Close call and smart from Dom Young to turn his hand trying to hit it back. What did you expect him to do? Of course he was going to try and hit that ball back. All right, 24 minutes gone. Newcastle playing out of their own end, and Dom Young now brings it to the 13. Laurie's is best mates with the New South Wales board. I just don't think New South Wales right now know who they want as their long-term coach. I don't think they know. Liam says if Ireland played league, would be the best in the world, I reckon. Okay, well, you play rugby union. You've never made a semi-finals appearance in the World Cup, so let's settle down here. Fit tackle here. That's a good run there from Jacob Saifidi. Whilst you can do pretty well in regards to the rankings on World Rugby rankings, at the end of the day, you've never played in a semi-final. So yeah, let's settle it down on that one. You do actually have an international team, but no, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one there, man. Jeremy says, no idea how Laurie is even coach. He has been working for tab betting for years. Okay, Sport Action says, not sure how Cobbo wasn't played the match. 200 metres, 3 tries, 1 try assist. I agree. I heard Cleary isn't interested in coaching the Blues. Oh, is interested. Well, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense. 4 tackling out to 45. I know who we don't want as New South Wales coach. It's a tough question. That's a tough question. I think it's Laurie Daly, isn't it? 5th tackling out to 40. You know what? I think it's time. Desi Hasler, get him in. It's time for Desi Hasler to get an Origin crack. I think that's your answer, New South Wales. Desi Hasler and Anthony Seibold as the coach and the assistant coach. Mary McGregor as the also an assistant advisor. Get in McGregor as an advisor. And if you need an attacking coach, or Greggy Marty to the 40 on the second tackle. If you need an attacking coach, I know a man currently at the Bulldogs who might be free and available post this year. He used to coach the Newcastle Knights himself. Yes, I think that's a really good shout there. 4 tackling out to 45. Forgot about Shane Flanagan. Shane Flanagan's too good for New South Wales, mate. He's too good. Fletcher Sharp at the 40. Left-hand side, quick passing. Greggy Martiu. Martiu now inside with a 25 on 5th tackle. They score here. Yikes. At least the Dragons haven't been just conceding like crazy these last few moments. Knights put it up in the air. Chase through. Good grab from Clint Coverstone. He's been safe today at the back. It'll be first tackle for the Dragons at the 8. Just let Mick Ennis do it. I'm thinking Will Zillman. You know what, New South Wales fans? I'm available if you need. If you need, I'm available. How about that? You want to know what my first selection would be for New South Wales? If I was the coach of New South Wales, what I would do? This is my job application right now. I would put Emre Gula into the halfback position. That's exactly what I would do. And I would bring Damien Cook back in and I'd put him in the centres. That's exactly what I would do. That is such an awful kick there from the Dragons, and it's going to be a 7-tackle set for the Knights. Kyle Flanagan 5'8". See, now we're talking, Annie. This is really, that's horn dog material. Emre Gula halfback. You know what? Screw that. Let's be serious. Everyone minus Val from the Dragons is the New South Wales team. Beautiful. Beautiful. 0 tackle here for the Knights. Now first tackle here at the 30. 20 minutes gone here in the first half, guys. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. 20 minutes gone. And it is 12-0 to the Newcastle Knights. Gould, Fittler, Alexander, 90s. Penrith connection for Blues coaching team. Anthony Milford front row. Anthony Milford's Queensland though, no? Third tackle here at the 50. Couchies on the wing. Yeah, that's the way to go. Crossland off to Saifidi, then to Crossland. Out the back here, Dan Gagai, Dom Young. See you later. Back on the inside. It's going to bounce here for the... Oh, it's going to be over from the Dragons. Oh, it's so unlucky. Oh, no. It's going to be... Oh, he's... Into touch off Dragons. Yeah, that's so unlucky, St George. Dragons value say at this stage might be anything. No. So Dragons, Val, you can't get him because he's Queensland eligible, but everyone else from the Dragons comes in for the New South Wales team in 2027. Do I have the job, New South Wales fans? Do I have the job? I think I should. I really think I should. I think you'd be silly not to take up that option. Let's be serious. So first tackle now here at the 20. Oh, yeah, Brenton, I'll get to this in a second. Yeah, I did. Dylan Brown here at the 10. It'll be second tackle. Can they go over again here? Phoenix Crossland, left-hand side. That's 6 again for Newcastle, and it's a forward pass. Forward pass. The Dragons will get away with it there. They would have had a 6 again, but Crossland with the forward pass. It'll be Dragons ball at 10. Bratton says, did you see that Spurs fan taking on like 100 Knicks fans? Then they all scatter like ants when he shapes up to them. Yeah, there's been a lot of videos like that. Have you seen the video of the Knicks parade? And there is one larger lady who is climbing on a light pole, and there's another Knicks fan. It's a high tackle penalty here to the Dragons against Greg Matthew at the 12. But she's climbing on the pole, and then as she's coming back down, the one of the ladies, the small lady, is not letting her come back down. So she ends up just like grabbing her and yanking her off this light pole. Anyway, this bird gets back up, comes over to her, grabs her pants and pulls it down. She starts twerking. This is in front of thousands of people in the streets. She pulls her pants down, just starts smacking her on the ass. And she's twerking for everyone because she doesn't care. And anyway, as she's trying to get down, the other lady just starts going whack, whack. It's the Knicks are wild, dude. Like they are. It's just New York is an absolute zoo, mate. New York is a zoo. And if you take that any other way than it's meant to be put, then you're an idiot. But New York is just straight up a zoo. Dragons here at the 25 on third tackle. And they're going to go to the right-hand side. And they're away. Chance here for the Dragons. Chance here for the Dragons. They will be at the 15 on fourth tackle. I threw up watching that lady twerk with the full moon out. Crazy stuff, Mitchell. Knicks fans, they are something. That's kicked through. And that's going to be 6 again here for the Dragons. Loco Jr. Pacific Tonga with the ball 10 meters away from the line. No, it's not real people in New York, mate. They just aren't. They just are not. Dragons 2 meters away from the line, second tackle. Knights, you're starting to scare me a little bit here because I know your defense. Oh, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. Yep, penalty to the Dragons here. 100%. Sport Reaction says, who do you think kicks a goal for Australia? So Sport Reaction's brother, Rugby League stream. We've got four Football World Cup streams tomorrow. Let's keep the football chat for the football, man. Let's keep the football chat for the football and Rugby League for the Rugby League. Sometimes we can diversify, but I can see every comment from you right now is about the Football World Cup. Let's just wait for tomorrow. I'll be live half an hour before the Australia versus USA game starts. Leonard says, how's Fletcher Sharp playing? 2 tries already, mate. He's been fantastic. 2 tries already. They go to the right, Daniel Atkinson, and then they'll be taken down. Setu 2 at the 8 on second tackle. And now they'll give it out to Dylan Egan at the 5. That'll be third tackle here. Damien Cook out to Loco Junior Pacific Tonga. Kyle Flanagan kicks it through. Val Holmes. Try time with the Dragons. It's hovering. Knights fans, it's hovering. Try time for Val Holmes. The Dragons go over. The one player that you don't get to play for New South Wales is the one that scored. 12-4 with the kick to come. The Dragons go over. It's a nice little kick here from Kyle Flanagan. There's no fullback in because Fletcher Sharp's on the other side of the field. And Val Holmes goes over. 12-4 with a kick to come. Newcastle, what's happening here? If your local haven't won anything for a while, why wouldn't you go cray-cray? Not to the extent the Knicks go. It's not okay what Knicks fans have been doing. They have been bashing people on the streets and getting extremely violent with people who are just wearing a different jersey. Like, violent. They've been bashing them in the streets. And I'm talking, like, lots of people on one person. So, no, what they're doing is unfortunately not acceptable, but it's not like you're going to be able to stop it. But Val Holmes will score. It's 12-4 here with a kicker to come. Which says it happened well before the Knicks won anything, Laurie. Correct, yeah. That is correct. But people just use it as an excuse, eh? They just do. Jono says, didn't Knicks fans burn down a bus with people in it? Correct, Jono. That is exactly what they did. So 14 and a half minutes to go here the first half, and Val Holmes to get the conversion. You would assume he should be getting this one, convert his own try. And they put it on through. 12 points to 6 with 14 and a half minutes to go here of the first half. Well, the Knights started out red hot. Scored 2 very quick tries with Fletcher's sharp double. And then have just fallen into a massive slump over these last 15-20. But they scored 2 tries immediately, and now the Dragons are right back into it 26 minutes in. 15 minutes ago, this looked like it was going to be an absolute blow. It was going to get ugly. Nice swish off in the last 5 minutes. Last 15, really. Last 15. All right, so I'll whack this ball down into the 5, and the Dragons, well, bring it out to the 15, to the 20. Maybe we get a good game here. Momentum Tracker had the Knights completely on top for the first, 20. And again, the Knights scored both their first tries in the first 10 minutes. And now Blake Laurie to the 35 on third tackle. Surprises me every day Blake Laurie's still kicking. Surprises me every day. Couchman to the 45. Everyone needs to learn martial arts. Mate, I got a little bit of kung fu in me, don't you worry. A little bit of kung fu. Fire it up. I did a 6-week Muay Thai fitness camp in Thailand. You can't stop me. 58-meter gain there for the Dragons. Very good. That's out in the full, is it? No, it's going to bounce inside. It's going to be a great kick. Fletcher Sharp, can he get out? Can he get out? Can he get out? Well done, Fletcher Sharp. Well done getting under the in goal. I did a 6-week fitness camp Muay Thai in Hua Hin. Oh, buddy, I tell you what. Huh? You never know, see? A shape over there, I'm looking to punch him in there. Bang. You never saw that one coming. That's what happens. Knights caught up in their own limelight at the moment. That is it at the moment, Nath. They got a little bit too confident. I think I did notice how it all shifted when Dylan Brown knocked that ball onto the halfway point, and it was a pretty bad drop. Like, it just came out of nowhere and seemed really lazy to mine. That's where I felt like that knock-on changed the game here for the Knights in a negative way. 31-meter gain. So you've seen a 58-meter game for the Dragons and a 31-meter game for the Newcastle Knights. Who would the Knights' biggest rival be? Manly. Easy. Oh, big offload there from the Dragons. And Daniel Atkinson's away here. Daniel Atkinson to the 45 on the Knights side of the field. The Knights getting done over at the moment. They go to the left-hand side. Damien Cook, quick play the ball. The Dragons, oh my gosh, he's been rocked at the 25. It's going to go past horizontal, is it? No. Second tackle here for the Dragons. It's turning into a sneaky game here. Setu 2. That was a pretty poor pass, but if he gets away from him, he's got the numbers. The Knights defensively, what are you doing? Like, I know you've got question marks defensively, but shit, man, what is this? Kyle Flanagan back onto the inside, and Toby Couchman's going to be 9 metres away from the line, 4 tackle. Newcastle, you've got to wake up, man. What on earth is happening? They go Fionney, who's playing centre, so both wingers are actually playing centre and wing on the same side as each other now. 70-metre gain here for the Dragons. You're kidding, Newcastle. Up it goes. I think that's knocked on even Newcastle. It's going to be a dropout regardless. Welcome back to the party, St George Illawarra. Dropout coming up. Arthur Bunny says, I'm surprised it's not the Dragons as their biggest rival. Makes sense, right? A Knight slaying a Dragon. Thank you for that comment, Arthur Bunnies. That was unbelievable, really. You ready to fight Justin Gaethje, mate? Gaethje's got nothing, mate. He's got nothing. Oh, wow. They said it was a knock-on from the Dragons. It's actually Knights' ball. Knock-on for the Dragons in the field of play. So it's Knights' second tackle at the 25. They get very lucky there. They go Fletcher Sharp, then off to Bradman Best. And Bradman Best, he's going to be at the 45 on third tackle. It's amazing how quickly rugby league can change in 5 weeks, eh? Literally 5 weeks ago, you saw the Knights winning 44-10. Actually, it might have been the second half they dominated too. To be fair, Dragons' second halves are just absolutely abysmal. The last 20 minutes of games are just pathetic. So maybe we just got to be patient. Fifth tackle here for the Knights at the 35. 10 minutes to go here in the first half, folks. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Dom Young comes through. Tyrell Sloan gets the ball at the 13 on first tackle. Just another human says, remember when we could tackle? Well, the Knights are not a top 8 team for defense this year. They just simply are not. They are outside of the top 8 for defense. And right now is showing that. And right now is a major concern. Third tackle. So when you're asking me what my concern was, you're seeing it in action as we speak. Toby Couchman, he will bring this, gets the offload away to Damien Cook. That was actually Ryan Couchman. Damien Cook, he's going to take it to the 45 and 4 tackle. This is already a 35-40 meter set. They're already into really good territory. This is going to be a 55 meter set. 50 meter set. Fifth tackle. 45. Close enough. And they'll whack that ball up in the Dragons. Good chase through here. They want it right now. Flanagan probably should have been going for a catch there, though. He had a chance. Knights getting a little scammy here. Jono, I've said it. I've said it once. I'll say it again. If the Knights lose this, they are going on scam. And whoever loses Sharks Roosters is going on scam. Fact. Argue the wall. I don't even think Knights fans would argue it with me either. I don't think you would. I really don't think you would. Dom Young nearly goes over the sideline there, but he'll be 28 metres out from his own line here. Last 10 minutes possession, 62% for the Dragons. Wow, hello. Knock, knock, who's there? Stanwell Valholm, son. Territory 72% last 10 minutes. Sandon Smith. And that, geez, that was really rough. Fifth tackle to 40. What's this, like a 30-metre gain? 32-metre gain. Knights are making no meters and Dragons are making wampa meters. All right, so the Dragons will get this ball here to the 44 on first tackle. Laurie says, come on, Dragons. I got a bet with my friend for $100. Dragons going to win 3 games this year. Well, 3 games is okay for me because we've got 3 wins and I'll take that. Liam says, McGregor beat Holloway. Liam, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? With that being said, I'm always going to be a bit of a Conor McGregor fanboy, mate. I'm not going to lie. I've always loved Con. I've really loved him. He really was just so awesome to watch in his prime, mate. So I'm always going to back in a bit of Conor McGregor. Oh, kick in the corner! Dragons try time, Tyrell Sloan! Oh, no, Knights. You are on potential scam watch right now. Oh, my gosh. It's 12-10 with a key to come. The Dragons have scored. Justin Hughes says, hard to disagree with the scam alert if we don't get the shit together. Well, you haven't seen what we've just saying now. Tyrell Sloan will score, and the Dragons, well, they're about to maybe tie this game up. Difficult kick here from the left wing, but they are maybe about to tie this back. That's a great pickup from Tyrell Sloan too, mind you. That's a fantastic little pickup there. Boom, boom. Saints get up. Sloaney, they're boom, booming for you, Nath, right now. They are boom, booming. They are boom, booming in Newcastle. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what day it is, son. They're thinking about the Socceroos game in the morning. They're not thinking about the game right now. They're too busy thinking about getting Aaron Kunded. You're not getting Aaron Kunded right now. You're getting Tyrell Sloan. You're getting Damo Cooks. You're getting Valholm. Salai Liam. Keith Galloway is undefeated. Keith Galloway. Gus Gould's favourite player. I'm glad the Broncos took the first L. Oh, Brenton. Bro, it doesn't really change much. But with that being said, it does help a little bit, but also you're just kind of coping as well. You are just kind of coping as well. Jess with a £5 donation says 6.5 Dragons. Fire it up. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Thank you for the donation. Connor recently done an interview with Ariel Hawani, looking focused. Good interview. Yeah, there's a difference between when he needed it compared to when he wanted it. Valholm from the left wing. Yeah, getting Damo cooked. They're getting Damo cooked right now, the Newcastle Knights, and Valholm's over the black dot. It's 12-12 here in the Hunter. 12-12 in the Hunter. 12-12 is the score. Just a reminder, Newcastle Knights fans, 12-12. 12-12. This score 5 weeks ago was 44-10 Knights. Now, just in case you didn't hear it, Knights fans, 12-12 12 points to 12. Yes. 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 Okay, so Dragons win, won't bother. Titans win on 28 points, baby. Exactly right. Either way, mate, like on a hypothetical standing point, just to talk about it, even if we were, say, second last, we're still a win above them regardless, plus also the points differential is not close. Eden says, also, I came 8th in the World Cup League in round 1. Yeah, I completely forgot to change my team. So left-hand side now for the Dragons, and Blake Laurie is going to get this ball to the 25. I forgot to make any transfers whatsoever. And it's now not letting me change my captain from Oyezabal. I want to captain Bruno Fernandes, but it's not letting me change my captain from Oyezabal. So I've got to hope for the best against Saudi Arabia. Surely Spain turn up against Saudi Arabia. Surely. Their charity tries. Jake, I'm feeling like this is a charity game at the moment. 4th tackle here for the Dragons. They can get this ball to the 45. 5.5 minutes to go here. Benny says, what Cook and Damien? They're getting Damo cooked right now, the Knights. They are getting Damo cooked. Out to Kyle Flanagan. Oh, nearly a knock on there, but Hamish Stewart, who'll be at the 45 on 5th tackle. How many of you blokes have Fox loaded up, but have Blaze in the background as a true supporter? Get around, Jeremy. So they're going to kick this ball here to the 15. I think that's a knock-on from the Knights. No, it's knock-on Dragons here, they're going to say. So it's... Oh, they're not going to say... They're going to say it's knock back from the Knights. Okay. Okay, fair enough. 44-12 incoming Knights way. Well, it's not looking very likely right now, Brenton. Looking like a little bit of a struggle city bish. Struggle city bish. Looking like a struggle city bish, man. 4th tackle here at the 40. Well, there's plenty of points in it. We knew that. But that Knights defense is showing. But Knights might get through here. No, 5th tackle at the 50. That Knights defense is proven to exactly what I was saying. They kick that ball to about the 20. Good chase. They're going to let it bounce. Knock on here from the Dragons. And double knock on. So it's going to be Knights ball at 20. Why did Gutherson not catch this ball? Why did Gutherson let this ball drop? The Knights player was not trying to catch it. Gutho, that is your responsibility as fullback to catch that ball. You were there. He stopped. Gutherson, that is diabolical. Diabolical. Feel the magic in the air. Feel the magic in the air. Way. Great song. Did that song come out South Africa 2010 as well? South Africa World Cup gave us such good songs, man. Waka Waka, Buddy Waving Flag. Was Feel the Magic in the Air that year as well? Penalty in Newcastle. They may take the 2 here. Nath, your worst nightmare. Your worst nightmare. You're going to have the 2 scored against you. Gee whiz. They're going to take the 2. Your worst nightmare, Nath. Your worst nightmare. The Knights will take the 2 against 17th here. With 3 minutes to go. It makes the most sense, by the way. It does. It does make sense going for the 2 here. It does, unfortunately. Someone just messaged me saying, LMAO, you lot got peppered by Turkey. Easy win tonight. We won 2-0, Bucko. we beat Turkey 2-0. Wait, peppered by Turkey. We won 2-0. Bucko. I love using the word bucko. That really gets people. Unbelievable. What do you mean? What do you mean we got peppered? We literally won 2-0. So do you think they listen to BK in the coach's box? I'm sure they probably would, mate. I think I'm the emphasis. Laurie Daly should definitely. I don't know how many NRL coaches would be, but I assume 100% of them. The only one who doesn't listen to me would probably be Laurie Daly. And I think that's got to change. We got a dog move to... No, it's not 3 minutes to go of the first half. It's tied 12-12. You've been pumped by... You've been peppered the last 15 minutes, Newcastle. Take the 2. Take the lead, 14-12. It's technically the right answer. Dragons defense with the Great Wall of China second half, I hope. Yeah, good luck with that one, mate. Good luck with that one. Knights break the Dragons defense wall. Oh, yeah, no, it's a wall, mate. It's amazing. You know, when I go to sleep at night, I always think about the Dragons defense being something that just terrifies me. Like, that really, you know, I want to travel to the Great Wall of China. Great Wall of China. I want to travel to the Eiffel Tower. Hold on one second. I want to travel to the Great Wall of China. I want to get to the Eiffel Tower. I want to get to Machu Picchu. I want to get to, you know, Chopu, one of the greatest surf breaks in the world, and watch an absolute just massive wave. Nazara's in Portugal. That's where I want to get to. But when I wake up and I go to sleep at night and I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think about and the last thing I think about is the Dragons defense being just unbelievably unbreakable. It's what I do. Fletcher Sharp here at the 25 on third tackle. That was forward. I thought it could have been forward too, but we live to find another day, Nate. We live to find another day. Dylan Brown to the right-hand side. Out to Dane Gagai. Dane Gagai. He's away here. He's away here. Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown's a try. It's a try here for Newcastle on half-time. Maybe not for Crossland. Oh, that is powerful from the Dragons. Forward tackle, 1 metre away from the line. If they stop a try here, that's amazing. That's a penalty try for mine if this is a penalty. If this is a penalty, this is a penalty try for mine. I'm calling penalty try. He has no try. I want to see, yeah, interference. He's off the mark early. This should be a penalty try for mine. He's clearly off the mark early. There's a lot going on here. It's just real messy stuff here at the goalpost. It's not going to be a penalty try because he's just going immediately down. But there's no way you can tell me that's not offside. They're both. You can't tell me Ryan Couchman was square. Damien Cook is in the ruck and interferes with the pickup. They're going to see if the ball gets to the ground at any point. They can't call it a penalty try. Oh, wait, they will. That's a try. That's a try for Newcastle. Oh, wait, what? What is he called? Oh, double movement, but the original call is a penalty against Damien Cook. So this is going to be another 2 points. They'll go for the 2 here. So it's not a professional foul because he can't disappear, but it is still a penalty. Apparently, it's a double movement, which is why it's not a try for Newcastle. It's going to be a penalty for the interference. Dragons, you're very, very lucky. You're very, very, very lucky. It's a saving grace for you. Dragons have the other great wall called Made in China. Well, their jersey of the St George Illawarra Dragons makes sense. So I'm sure they'll take the 2 here, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They will take the 2 with 4 seconds left here. It's about to be halftime. Penalty for not clearing the ruck. Trying to says Dragons defense moving like Harry Sutar there. Yeah, that was really, really courageous stuff from the Dragons to prevent a try, though. Dane Gagai gets away, gives it off to... gives it into the inside, Dylan Brown. And then Dylan Brown just crossline not fast enough. Damien Cook, so good there. Damien Cook saving a game. Oh! Damn, Dragons have been roughed up here. There was a knock-on from Phoenix Crossland in that tackle they didn't see. There was a knock-on from Crossland. Look, Dragons fans, you're probably going to be pissed off here. But I will say... that is nearly impossible for the referees to see. Wait, so Damien Cook's talking to the referee here. What's happening? It's nearly impossible for the refs to see that. I seen that knock on from Crossland. I didn't see it originally. Didn't see that knock on live, Mitchell says. Yeah. I don't think that it had to come from a challenge because the touching's not going to be completely in line with it. And the referee is never going to be able to see that. So it would have had to have come. Oh, and also, you can't actually challenge it because it's live play. Yeah, so that's just unfortunate for the Dragons. They got very lucky there with a knock-on that is still going to lead to Newcastle Knights points. But at the very least, it wasn't a try. So halftime score is 16 points to 12. at halftime. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here, and hopefully this keeps on providing to be a good game, because at the moment it's a close game, it's a good game. The Dragons are fired up. So yeah, thumbs up, subscribe. Jess says, with a £5 donation, 15.5 nights, you're flying as per usual, Jess. You're flying as per usual. But let's get into the halftime stats here, guys. So 16-12 is the score, and then McDonald's Jones Stadium in Newcastle. Fletcher Sharp with a double for Newcastle. That was in the 5th and the 8th minute, and got both conversions, and then they didn't score anything until the last 2 minutes, where they got a penalty for Sandon Smith at 38 and a penalty for Sandon Smith at the 40, which they both got. So 16 points for them, 12 points for the Dragons, Valentine Holmes and Tyrell Sloan with 2 from 2 in the conversions. But yeah, look, it was a tied game up until those last couple of penalties. You go to the possession, 52% possession to Newcastle, 48% possession here to the Dragons, so very, very equal. Surprising, really, because the Dragons, over that last 20 to 35 minutes, were just dominating. The first 20 must have just been so all night, so that's why it's evened out a lot more here. Time of possession, 25 minutes is what you're looking for. 13 minutes and 33 seconds here for Newcastle. 12 minutes and 32 seconds for the Dragons. That is over 26 minutes here. Yeah, 13 plus 12 is 25, plus 33, plus 32 is 26 minutes and 5 seconds. So you're pretty happy with that. It's not extremely healthy, but it is well above the threshold. The completion rate, you're looking for 80% here. That is the minimum you're looking for. That is a great standard. Both teams are above it. 89% here for the Newcastle Knights. 17 from 19. They're very happy with that. Dragons also 89%, 17 from 19. They both have the same amount of sets. They both have the same amount of completed sets. They're both on 89%, which is very, very good. The runs, 98 runs. So it's really interesting here that the Knights and Dragons have had the same amount of completed sets and the same amount of sets, but yet the Knights have 14 more runs than the Dragons. 98 runs to Newcastle, 84 runs to the Dragons. But with those 98 runs to Newcastle, they've got 984 run meters. So they are above the 10 meters in average per run. They are making plenty of meters per set right now. You're about to see an absolute whopping number at half time on the average set distance, but 984 is 4 above the 10 meters in average. It's amazing. Whilst the Dragons, they're at 84 runs for 769 run meters. So they are 71 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for. So even if you give those 14 extra runs to the Dragons, they would probably struggle to get 920. I'd say that they'd be down by probably a good 50 to 60 with an equal ball count on where the Knights would be. So the Knights are very clearly winning the run meter department, and if they update an extra 2 runs, they will get past the 1,000. The post-contact meters is 311. That's always a success when you get past the 300. If you get past 1,000 run meters, it's always a success regardless. If you get past 300 post-contact, you're happy with it. 311 for the Knights, very happy. To the 239 here for the Dragons with the 14 less runs. They're not getting an extra 70 more post-contact meters in 14 runs. So the Knights are clearly winning both those departments. You go to the line breaks, 2-0 here to Newcastle. Nothing insane, but still just too easy for the Knights. Tackle breaks, 23 is too high. The Dragons giving up. 23 for the Knights, 18 for the Dragons. Also too high. The Knights giving up, really. But the average set distance, now this is unbelievable here. 25 meters and below is pathetic to the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is essentially perfect. Well, the Dragons are at 40.51, so that's great. They're in the lower end of the great category. They're doing a really, really good job with it. They're making plenty of meters. But they're still being beaten by 11 meters. 51.81 meters per set in the first half from the Knights is perfect. There is not much you can really do better than that. You're not averaging 60. You're not averaging 70. 55 is probably the highest I've ever seen, but 51.81 is electric, man. That is one of the best average set distances you're going to see at halftime. So the Knights, despite the fact that the Dragons have a great category average set distance, they're still beating them out by 11 meters currently. And then you go to the average play the ball speed. 3.19 seconds and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And 3.8 and above is extremely slow. The Knights are at 3.51 seconds, so that is in the average category, and the Dragons are at 3.46 seconds, is also in the average category. The offloads, both not too high, but decent enough. The Dragons definitely getting up there. 6 from the Knights, 7 from the Dragons. And then we move to the kick defusal, 57% for the Knights, 56% for the Dragons, so equal there. The effective tackle percentage here, both teams' defenses are awful. They are both awful here. So 85% and below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. And 90% and above is essentially perfect. The Newcastle Knights are 84.97%, so just under the underwhelming category, into that awful category. 164 tackles made is in the typical range of 160 to 180. That is pretty normal there, but the 18 missed tackles is above the 15 to 17 average, and the 11 ineffective tackles is 4 above the 5 to 7 average. So you've got 29 bad tackles in the first half with a respectable tackles made count of 164. 84.97% is just simply not good enough. They're above the averages in both categories, and especially in that ineffective. And then you go to the Dragons on their ineffective tackle percentage, and it is worse. 83.6% here, so a full 1.3, 1.4% lower than what the Knights are at in the awful category. The tackles made is 158, so they've made 6 less tackles here than the Knights. The typical range is 160 to 180. They're at 158, so that's 2 below the average. 23 missed tackles is ridiculous. That is 6 above the average of 15 and 17, and it is 5 above the Knights with 6 less tackles, but the ineffective tackles are at 8, still above the average of 5 to 7, but at least it's 3 less than the Newcastle Knights there. So you've got 31 bad tackles from the Dragons, you've got 29 bad tackles from the Knights, and yet the Dragons have made those 6 less tackles than Newcastle. So the defense is slightly in favor of the Knights, but ultimately both these teams just aren't looking too fantastic defensively, when that can be understood going into this game. Errors-wise, 3 for the Knights, so 3 and below is really good, 4 to 6 on average, and 7 and above is awful. 3 for the Knights is really good. 5 for the Dragons is normal. That's pretty typical. And then we move to the penalties conceded. 3 against the Dragons, 2 against the Knights, and 1 for ruck infringement. So the referee isn't really getting involved here. 3 still pretty ill-disciplined, but the referee's not really getting too heavily involved here. And there's only been 1 6-again apiece. The errors aren't awful. It's actually not been that bad of a game, really, when you're looking at the quality in a lot of ways, except for that defense. The defense really brings it down. 84.97% and 83.6% isn't up to scratch. Outside of that, all the other numbers are just pretty decent, for the most part, which you wouldn't necessarily think going into this game. You do fully expect it from the Knights. You don't really expect it from the Dragons, but again, some of their stats are still quite lackluster regardless. But overall, this game is still there to be won for the Dragons. I am going to take the Knights here. I am still going to take them 13 plus. Sorry, Dragons fans. And the reason being is that Dragons are the worst second half team in the competition typically. If they go and win this, shock horror, it's amazing. But typically speaking, they do suck in the last 20 minutes of games, in the 60 to 80th minute. They fall off of a cliff. These next 20 minutes could still be quite competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dragons take the lead in this game in the next 20, and then the Knights come over the top of them, because that's typically what happens. It's typically what happens. So that's the halftime stats here, 16-12, long way to go. Jess says, Nate, what do we say in second half? Nate says overs, Jess, for sure. Yeah, I'd say overs should definitely be happening. Whatever it is, it should be. Brenton says, Dragons should just want the game to end here. Knights steam training coming. Yeah, I don't know about that arrogant, cocky talk right now, Brenton. I don't know about that one right now. I think you should just be trying to survive this game as we speak. I think you should just be trying to survive at the moment, man. And it's just need to clean up a few things. But to be down by 4 and kept them trials for 30 minutes, I'll take it. Yeah, absolutely. You take whatever you can in this season. You take the good moments, because there's going to be plenty of bad moments. You just have to take whatever you can get. So you've got a positive couple of moments there. The first half could have been a nightmare after that first 10 minutes. It didn't end up being a nightmare. You're unlucky to be down by 4. You probably should have been down 14-12. But either way, you've at least made it close considering where it could have been after what we saw in that first 10 minutes. Turtle Crusher says the lack of 6 agains is very refreshing. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. And that's... We all want to see a game decided by the players in the field, not the referee with his whistle. We always want to see that. So, no, it has been nice to see. This game's been pretty decent. Blaze, any further insight why the Dragons are so bad in the last 20? I just think that they get exhausted. Again, like, you go through all their games and their last 20 is where they really suffer. Panthers game, Storm game. Storm game, they're up 20 points to 16 with 20 minutes to go and lost 46 points to 20. Titans game, they were leading by 8 points and ended up losing by, 6 or 8 points in the end? Shit. I can't even remember. How much we beat them by? 24-16 or something like that? I'm going to have a look. 20-14. So we ended up winning by 8. I think the score was 24-6. Maybe 24-6 or 24-8. I can't remember. But then the last 20, the Titans pulled away from them. Who else was... Dragons, Sharks. My gosh, last week was just a nightmare in that last 20. The Broncos game, the Broncos still nearly found a way back in. Like, the Broncos were down by an insane amount. Like, look at this, right? So, at halftime, the score was 14-2. But at the 60th minute, the score was 30 points to 6. No, 30 points to 2. It was 30-2 to the Dragons at the 60th minute mark. That game finished 30-26. So in the last 20 minutes of that game, they gave up 24 unanswered points. And again, it's the same thing that happened in that Storm game where they were up 20-16 at halftime at home, 20-16 with 20 minutes to go. And then from there, you just saw Farlonger, Jerome Hughes, Farlonger, and Moses Leo just absolutely slaughter them in that last 20. Let's have a look at that Eels game. Or the Eels might have been earlier. Yeah, the Eels were earlier, but the Eels sealed it in the last 8 anyway. Cowboys was just throughout the whole game, to be fair. That was just a shit fest in the Dragons. Manly game was the last 20 as well. That's right, because it was an 18-18 game. And then Manly just blew it away in that last 20. What else was there? Oh, Rabbitohs, I think, scored... Rabbitohs, it was only 18 points to 12 with 10 minutes to go there. And then, obviously, the Rabbitohs ended up winning 30-12 and scored a couple of tries late. Panthers game blew out. Knights game blew out. Roosters was the whole time. Even though they won against the Broncos, it was very close to not being a win despite being up by 24 points with just 20 minutes to go. When is that fight, by the way, Brenton? Big Nelson versus George Burgess. I'll probably take Big Nelson. Because I'm pretty certain he's the one really trying to make a career out of it. No confidence in my statement, but I back it. Well, you should have confidence. Realistically, the Knights shouldn't be in this situation. Big Nas likes fighting 40-plus nuffies. Well, yeah, like at the end of the day, you're not going to be seeing him taking on a big dogs. Like you wouldn't be expecting Big Nelson and Safa Solomona to take on those big dogs. He's not a professional fighter. He's trying to be the Gallon. I truly don't believe that anyone's going to be able to, or anyone that I can think of right now, I don't think Nelson has the pull of what Gal did, because Gal was a very good player. He was also an exceptional loser, but he was a very, very good player regardless. So the pull that he had was gigantic. It really was. It was fantastic. And that's why he was able to make a name for himself in the boxing scene too, because he had his quality playing days. He had his origin and also domestic level NRL playing days, and then had the fact that he was a pretty decent boxer too. And anyone says he wasn't a good boxer, you're a muppet, because he did dominate throughout and had really good boxing battles, and for his celebrity boxing status. You know, Justice Hooney slapped him, but outside of that, you know, he competed well with everyone, and obviously slapped Sonny Bill. Flames on Game says, just tuned in. How has Greg been playing? Is it safe to bet him for a try scorer still? I don't think anything's safe right now in this game. I'd say, yeah, sure. I think he should score, but I don't think anything's safe as we speak yet. So the second half has started, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Knights complete their first set, and this is going to go for a 7-tackle set for the Dragons. Not a good way to start for the Knights. He was okay for an amateur. No, he was very good for a celebrity boxer. That's how you got to look at it. Paul Gallen wasn't an amateur. He was a celebrity boxer. There is a difference. Amateurs are young lads who are attempting to make a big name for themselves. Doesn't mean they will, but they're guys who are attempting to make a big name for themselves. Gallen was just there as a celebrity boxer. Gallen was good on the mic for selling his fights too. Exactly right. He knew how to promote. He knew how to be the villain. He knew how to talk shit. And look, man, at the end of the day, he was making millions of dollars. He did everything right. Vatuvai called out Big Nelson for his next bout. Vatuvai? Oh, I don't know about that. I'm sure you're telling the truth. I'm just saying, I don't think that's a sell. Manu Vatuvai, come on, give me a break. That's going to be a knock-on here from the Dragons, and the Knights will get the ball in their own half of the field. The win behind the Knights now usually strong that end. Well, you'd hope so. You would hope so. If they're going to challenge this here, St George, I would argue there was a forward pass there. Amateurs to the hard yards. Yeah, Gal was a pure celebrity boxer. He was not a professional boxer. He was a celebrity boxer. So it doesn't touchdown Gagai there. This is going to be a knock-on. Val Holmes here. They're competing for the ball. It's a knock-on from Dom Young. It's a knock-on from Dom Young here. Even though I would make the argument that it was a knock-on for the pass to Val Holmes. I think this is a knock-on Dom Young. But then again, is he pulling back to... No, even if he's pulling back to himself, they call this a knock-on every day of the week. Yeah, but they call this a knock-on every day of the week. Oh, they're saying it's definitely hit back from Dom Young. You call that a knock-on every day of the week, mind you. That's inconsistent. I don't really care about your call here. I think that's crazy you've said... Well, it's inconclusive. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with inconclusive. However, I don't like how they've said over the mic that Dom Young clearly hits that ball back when they call that a knock-on very consistently. But I would have been happy with inconclusive regardless. That is inconclusive. But it's just consistency-wise, they do typically call that knock-on. All right, so it's going to be first tackle from Newcastle at the 42. Crossland to the left-hand side, and the Knights are going to be at the 50 on second tackle. Just booked tickets for Spence and Timmy Zoo. Had a cracking game here. Shock Dragons fighting back. Yeah, no, it's a pretty decent game at the moment, man. Third tackle here at the 40. Hopefully Zoo can get it. Unfortunately, his name's not as strong as it once was, though. Knocked back in Wigan, I guess. That was a try in Wigan. That'd be a try in Wigan, though. Dylan Brown, right-hand side. Dylan Brown brings it to the 15 on fifth tackle. That is definitely a try in Wigan. Crossland. To the left-hand side. Sandon Smith kicks this ball across. Bradman Best goes up for it. Catches it. Oh, taken down half a metre short from the line. He got so close, but the Dragons will pick it up. They will be 3 minutes out from their own line. First tackle at the centre 2, mark it away at the 5. That was Defo Mate Pie. Try and Wigan. By the way, Jess, do you understand the reference that Nath makes when he says that's a try and Wigan? I'm sure if you think about it, you probably can understand what he's talking about. Third tackle now at the 20. And Damien Cook will go out to the right to Ryan Couchman. And they will be at the 30 now. At the 4 tackle. Not good meters here at all. Josh Kerr. Still surprised that he's kicking along as well. So he's referring to the Panthers versus Wigan game when Liam Moore refereed it about 4 years ago now. 3-4 years ago. and it was the World Club Challenge in England. There was a very clear no try, and it was a very close game. But there was a very, very clear no try in Wigan. The whole NRL community and the whole worldwide rugby league community blew up about it, and ultimately was the deciding points. But it's just basically referring to a dog shit call of like how close the ball was to the line, but it wasn't over, so we're going to call it a try anyway because it's a try in Wigan. That's essentially what he's trying to say. Fitzagri at 35. I guess I remember robbed, yeah. Even devout Panthers haters, just like Tom Young. Oh, knock on from Tom Young. Knock on. 7 tackle set coming up because it goes over the dead ball line. Even devout Panthers haters were just like, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. All right, so first tackle here for the Dragons. They're going to be at the 32. And they'll bring it out to the 40 on first tackle. Keeping it alive, lest we forget. Keep it always alive, son. Always keep it alive. I still love you got lest we forget. Obviously, we played Turkey last week. I still love the Aussies' response were now the Turkish know how hard it is to attack a beach because Patrick Beach was our goalkeeper and they couldn't score past him. It's brilliant. It really is. It's brilliant stuff. So Centre 2's going to stay down here. He's going to try and claim for a high tackle. Oh, he's going to try and claim a high tackle here. And it's definitely a high tackle against Greg Matthew. He's had a couple of those tonight. This will be a high tackle penalty for sure. For sure. So Dragons will get an attacking opportunity here. I need to send him off. Hey, we sent off in Origin. That's off the same wavelength, Dave. He sent off in Origin. Round 16. And we're not actually seeing too much dew here. Commentary's right, yeah. Usually we do see a lot of dew around, but there's meant to be like some massive El Nino because it is a really hot winter down in Australia. So you guys are about to get slaughtered with rain at the end of this year. My gosh. Second tackle here at the 20. This is a massive moment. But I did say at half time, I could see the Dragons taking the lead before the Knights run away with it in the last 20. Did say at half time, I could see the Dragons taking the lead. Damien Cook, he's going to go to the left-hand side here. Blake Laurie, 3 meters out for tackle. Here we go. Damo Cook to Ryan Couchman. And Couchman's going to be 3 meters out on fifth tackle. 39-meter gains, pretty decent. They go to the right. Kyle Flanagan, Daniel Atkinson kicks it through. Good chance, good chase. Fletcher Sharp gets back and it will be a dropout. Tell you what, Breno, you're looking at Tad Dicey. Look, Brenton's not commenting much at the moment. I feel like he's got a little bit of hands in the pants right now. A little bit of squeaky bum time. It's a bit of a struggle for Newcastle. Just another human. He's shitting bricks as well. Dragon Shulkin game been good. Yeah, it's not been too bad. The Knights fans in this chat, they've gone a little bit wayward. They haven't been commenting too much. Oh, that's a great take from Dom Young on the short dropout. Really good, but that's what he does. He knows how to do that. It'll be second tackle now for Newcastle at the 15. Second tackle. Great kick from Sando Smith too. Great jinx. yeah, it's a good jinx. And they'll go to the left here, Newcastle. Really impressive. We haven't been seeing too many 6 against here today at all. Now they go to the right. And Sanders Smith nearly goes through. We at the 42 on fifth tackle. Harrison Graham to Dylan Brown and Brown. 28-meter game for the Knights. Their average set distance in the first half was amazing, but it's surprising actually that I think back on it because I remember a lot of sets were going sub 30. And that's another sub 30. Second tackle now at 30 for the Dragons. Only a 4-point game here. You're kidding yourself, Newcastle. You're kidding yourself, son. What do you reckon this is? What do you reckon we're doing here? Playing ballet? You think this ballet or something, Newcastle? What do you think you're doing here? Third tackle at 45. They go to the left, Daniel Atkinson. Set to 2. And 2 now will beat the 50 on 4 tackle. Damien Cook. Kyle Flanagan off to Clint Gutherson. Gutherson off to Val Holmes. Val Holmes at the 35 off to Tyrell Sloan. Tyrell Sloan cuts back into the inside, still going. Offloads it. Josh Kerr. Daniel Atkinson hits the grass. Dragons are away here. Dragons are away here. Over the top. Here we go. Here's a chance. Tyrell Sloan back onto the inside. He is 10 metres out from the line. Fit tackle. No way, Knights. No way you're going to do this. Set to 2. Last chance. Puts it up. In the air. Knock on from the Dragons. But this is exciting right now. It's going to be a handover here to the Knights at the 10. This is exciting footy at the moment. 30 minutes to go of the game. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. The Dragons, they are coming strong. This is definitely not an easy matchup as we speak for the Newcastle Knights. They are finding a real struggle to put this game away. Sharp being quiet with shape at the back, not the same as KP. I really am saying that I think Sandon Smith in the 6 is a massive detractor to what this Knights team is. I think you need, I said this preseason, I think you need Kalaponga fullback. I think you need Fletcher Sharp 6. I think you need Dylan Brown 7. And I think you need, well, you don't need Phoenix Cross on 9, but he's obviously your 9. I don't like, Justin did this a lot with the Titans, mind you. I don't like shifting a 5'8" from the 5'8" to cover the fullback. They would have originally had Fletcher Hunt covering the fullback position, but yeah, he decides to put Fletcher. So basically what you've done is you've decimated half of your spine because you're now missing half of your spine. So you've gone from missing one spinal player in Kalaponga to missing 2 spinal players in Kalaponga and Fletcher Sharp, because Fletcher Sharp is a 5'8". He's not a fullback, so that's a completely different position. So that's why I say you're essentially losing 2 of your starting 4 players there, which goes to the point of what I always say. When you have your full spine and you've got a good chance to win, you have 1 player out, then it's going to be tough to win. If you have 2 players out, you're very unlikely to win. If you have 3 players out, it's time to move to Antarctica. You're not winning. I hate when coaches change spinal players into other spine positions to cover for an injury. You have a player that can play fullback. Keep Fletcher Sharp and Dylan Brown in the halves. Knights have been able to extend that lead due to the Dragons being very decent. What are you talking about? Brenton says, yeah, Fletcher Hunt should have been fullback and kept Sharp in the halves. I'm with you, because you're essentially decimating half your spine to cover for one position. That's the issue. Third tackle now for the Knights. They're at the 30. Game on now. What do you mean game on? Oh, because Jacob Little came on. Hey, if Jacob Little scores, Ibrahim, you're toast, son. If Jacob Little scores, you are toast, Sonny Jim. Sandon Smith's going to get this ball to the 45. 4th tackle down to Dylan Brown. Now 5th tackle, 47-metre gain. Good set there from the Knights. And the Dragons will be the 5. I'm feeling for Jess right now because this game looks like it may not actually be going over. How many do you need for the over, Jess? How many do you need? Because right now it's massively in a grind and nobody is scoring. We're not seeing anything really breaking away as we speak, but there's still 28 minutes to go here to save you, but kind of feeling a little bit rough for the over. I haven't done over. Good. That's a good choice right now, Jess, because it is very much a struggle fest as we speak. But Val Holmes, he'll get this ball to the 35 on 4 tackle. Harrison Graham is on bug a little. Oh, I do fancy both of them, to be fair. Bit of a romantic, me. Bit of a romantic. Fancy both of them. I'd probably lean with Jacob Little, though he's proven it more. I would be leaning with Jacob Little. If, don't you mean when he scores? Well, I'm just trying to save Ibrahim for a second, because if Jacob Little scores, I'm going to remind Ibrahim that not only did I predict Stefano Utubukamanu to score a try for the Storm that one time, but also Jacob Little off of the bench, you know? So it'll be maybe the end of his life, really, Ibrahim. And if he doesn't score, I just say, well, he was on the bench. I was trying to go for a little bit of a spicy one. Like, it's not my fault. the end of the day, I held faith in a bench player, but you're not expecting a bench player to score. Like, if a bench player scores, fantastic, amazing. Wow, that's a great pickup. But if he doesn't score, you're just like, well, that makes sense. So I'm in a win-win situation here. I'm in a buddy win-win. You can't lose here, son. You can't lose here. They go to the left-hand side. Sandon Smith, he'll put that ball up. Bradman Best coming through. Knights will knock it back. Knights are away. Dylan Brown, left-hand side. Here he comes for Sandon Smith. Maybe. This is going to be tight. Who puts their hand on it first? Who puts their hand on this first? They're going to call this as a try. We're going to have to go to the bunker, though. Who puts this ball down first? Ball bounces. Setu 2 coming in, trying to block off the run there. He'll come down and try time, Sandon Smith. That is a try. That's a great play there from Sando Smith. That is a really good play from Sandon Smith. So 20 points to 12 with a kick to come. 20 points to 12 with a kick to come. Setu 2 slow as a snail reaction. Well, you got to remember, Setu 2 is coming up in a line while Sandon Smith is running down in the line. So that's a short turnaround. It's very harsh to have a crack at Setu 2 for his speed there when he has to completely adjust his body to come backwards. I don't think that was fit tackle either. So he's had to completely adjust his body to retreat while Sandon Smith is just continuously on the run. So very, very, very different there. But with 25 minutes to go here of the game. Oh, well, it's not quite the 60th minute, but it's pretty close. Sando rocking the Bonds undies. Good to see. 20-12 here. Try confirmed. And the Knights are still, like, there is still a great chance here. The only issue that I would have with Setu 2 here is not his speed. The issue I would have with him is he's not playing the ball, he's playing the man. If you play the man there, he's going to be able to put his hand on the ball. If he's playing the ball, he can dive and try and hit it away. He can dive and try and hit that dead for a 7-tackle set, a dropout, sorry. But he's playing the man, trying to prevent Sandon Smith rather than going in himself. That's a great kick there from the sideline, and the score is 22-12. I still like St George. St George are not... Brother, the last 20 minutes of game, St George, every Dragons fan here can agree with me, the last 20 minutes of Dragons games are diabolical. I promise you, man, you should not necessarily be relying on this Dragons team in the last 20 down by 10. Brent says, I hope not, but if he wants to score one after we score another 3, I'll back it. Listen, Brenton, let Jacob Little score, you cut. Just let him score, mate. Grow up, Brenton. Let him score so I can rip into Ibrahim. Come on. Be serious, Brenton. Be serious, mate. Let me rip into Ibrahim. I smell blood in the air. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Feel it in my toes. Yeah. Jacob Little scoring. He might even go and score 3. Might even score 3. Yeah. Beautiful singing, mate. Get me on Australian Idol. Get me on Australian Idol. And if you guys don't understand the reference of that song, you sicken me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. If you don't understand the reference of that song, I'm a very big... Like, when I watch movies, I remember... When I hear a song... I'll always associate it with a movie. So when I sing that song, what movie am I saying? And when we says one more nice try and the floodgates might open, I agree with you. I do agree. And that we are about to get to the 60-minute mark here with the Dragons. Thought that was coming pretty quickly, Brenton. I thought that was coming. I want to... defend Adam O'Brien. Contact back to the Knights. Waste of space. Always been worth attacking. Hangover. No, Jono. Hangover? I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Christmas is all around us. It's how the feeling goes. Surely someone. Surely. Addy, you've got to get it. Jess, you got to get it. Maybe the lads wouldn't have watched it, but I'm sure you would have watched it around Christmas. Time me out. Hangover. How did you get that hangover, though? Love it. Brenton's comment. Third tackle now at the 40. 22 minutes to go here. What's the score? 16-12? 22-12 right now, Jess. Love Actually, Addy. Beautiful. See? I knew one of the ladies would get it. I knew it. Oh, sorry. This live score hasn't updated on the screen. Oh, Ty Medson out. I saw that. Ty Medson out. Ty Medson out. Mike Tyson singing with you. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Very different song. You're not going to get timed out, but Edson's getting timed out. Edson's absolutely getting timed out. Need to audition for The Voice. I am The Voice, mate. Second tackle now for the Dragons at the 15. 21 and a half minutes to go. Love Actually. Spot on. I think I had to put the Christmases all around us for you guys to get it. I feel like maybe. Knew it was Love Actually, but I didn't want to be first to say. Tiger Hood, be a man, brother. Like I've grown up. I love rom-coms. I love romantic movies and stuff like that. I grew up with a single mum for the most of my life, mate. So I've watched every one you can possibly imagine. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it, mate. 52 metres gained here for the Dragons. They'll whack this ball down here to the 5. Doesn't make you any less of a man just because you enjoy movies like Love Actually. No one says the Great Wall of China has fallen. It's fallen, mate. It has fallen, and it doesn't look like it's getting built back up anytime soon here. Speaking of clogging, Brenton, I think you know what I'm referring to here. 20 minutes to go in the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Real men like Love Actually. Exactly right, Brenton. Get a little bit of Notebook India. Get a little bit of Jerry Maguire India. Oh my gosh, you had me at a low. Forward tackling at the 40. I was watching old school Nicolas Cage. His movie, Con Air, got whole world in his hands, stuck in my head. One of my favourite Nicolas Cage movies of all time is National Treasure. What a movie. When's the hydration break? I'd boo it. I would boo it if there was a hydration break here today. I see plenty of those. The next hydration break will be in about maybe 8 hours or so. That's going to be allowed to bounce here for the Dragons. Okay, Dragons fans, pucker up, son. Because this last 20 is usually when you fall apart like a steam train. I'm telling you, this last 20 is usually when the steam train gets rolled right through the middle of Cogra. Second tackle at the 25. I don't even know what's happening there. Third tackle here at the 30. Generation of Movies was awesome. Yeah, brilliant stuff back then. That's going to be Lucho Leilua. Great offload away. Gutho. Maybe Knights fans turn to pucker up. The game might be still on here. And Matty Fairnay will get this ball to the 25. No, sorry, Tyrell Sloan with the ball at 25. A little out to Flanagan. Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson on fourth tackle here. Kicks the ball over the top here for himself. The ball bounces. Set to 2 with the try time for the Dragons. And the game is on. Since when? 22 points to 16 with a kick to come. The Dragons go bang, brap, boomshka. And we are within one score, and it's about to be a 4-point game again. About to be a 4-point game again. It's nearly every comment, Mitchell, to be honest with you. There'll be a try again, and it'll still be the same. But Daniel Atkinson with the kick over the top. It sits up in the ink hole. Fletcher Sharp touches it, and it just goes straight to set to 2 for a try. That's the last time I wrapped set to. Yeah, Brenton, you gave him a compliment, and he scored for you. That was all for you, mate. That was all for you. All for you, mate. Toronto says Sound of Music was a staple in my house. Personal favourite. I did not mind Sound of Music until it was eventually a punishment for when I skipped school. So when I was about, I think, 15 years old. No, I think it was 13 years old. And I decided, I was at TSS at the time on the Gold Coast. And I decided to skip school and I went to Southport and watched a movie. But my mum found out by the end of the day. So when I went back, I was back in my school uniform. I went back to school for her to pick me up. She obviously wasn't happy. She forced me to watch Sound of Music 5 times in a row the next day. 5 times in a row. So that movie can fuck right off, is what I'll say to you. 17.5 minutes to go here at a game. Oh, he's missed a kick. Oh my gosh, he's missed the kick from right in front of Val Holmes. He's missed the kick from right in front. Notebook's a great movie, Tigerwood. Fletcher shut with a talent peer plate. No, not the same, brother. Not the same. Not the same. Yeah, Brenton's timed it out for a minute. I knew that was coming. 22-16 with 17.5 minutes to go. I can't believe he's missed that kick there, Val Holmes. It's right next to the post. It should have been a 4-point game. Notebook is a classic. You can't not like the Notebook. If there's any man here who says they don't like the Notebook, I think that you're actually less of a man. If you don't like the Notebook and you can't admit to liking the Notebook, I feel sorry for you, really. Even though when you really think about it, the dude is a massive stalker and he's actually pretty full on. But it's a great movie. But if you really deep it, he's kind of a stalker, and kind of threatens to die if she doesn't go on a date with him. So it does get pretty dark the more you think about it. As he's hanging off of a Ferris wheel, forcing her to go on a date with him. 4th tackle at the 45, but that'll ruin the movie for you. 5th tackle here at the 45. The next time you watch it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. 53 meters gain. And that's going to be a penalty to the Knights. Yep, penalty Newcastle here at the 20. They says only real men love Boy George. What are you talking about? You just take it to a whole different level. They're not challenging this, are they? This is clearly a penalty. I can't believe the Dragons are challenging this. You're going to lose your challenge for sure. The last one was inconclusive. I can't believe you're challenging this. 51st dates. Brenton, I'm timing somebody out. You know what? If someone says they don't like 51st dates, I don't like you, and you can get timed out. That's just, even if you aren't into rom-com movies, that's just a funny movie objectively. It's just a great movie. Anyway, it's clearly a penalty against Carl Flanagan, by the way. Okay, no, I haven't watched the Minecraft movie, mate. That's not for me. Ash Klein. You know what? Not only do I think that you're an absolute knob in Origin, you're getting 10 minutes. We'll see you with 6 minutes to go in this game. You're getting 10 minutes, mate. Yeah, Brenton did the same thing. He timed it out for 10 minutes. We both did it on 10 minutes. That's incredible. 16.5. Usually we'll time people out for 5 minutes, guys. Sometimes we feel nice and do 1 minute. This time, without even knowing, Brenton and I both timed it out for 10 minutes at the same time. So the Knights here at the 40 on their own side of the field. Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you, man. I've never watched it, and I never will watch Brokeback Mountain. But, with that being said, if that's your thing, man, that's your thing. I'm not really into that. Second tackle here at the 45. But you do you, man. You do you. He's lucky it wasn't 24 hours. 51st Dates is one of the greatest movies of all time. I think Ash Klein is actually lying to himself, really. I think he is lying to himself. Right-hand side now, Sandon Smith for the Knights. If they can score one more try here, I'd call it as good as done. I don't see the Dragons scoring again. Dane Gagai will be at the 25. He really is an interesting character, isn't he, Brenton? I know you know what I'm saying. Really interesting. Sandon Smith goes out to the right to Fletcher Sharp and Mitchell. Mitchell knows exactly what I'm talking about. Really interesting. 5th tackle now at the 5. And quick... Oh, that was awful from Harrison Graham. That was awful. I don't even know if it was the first one was a kick. Sherry says, broke back as a classic. Just skip the kiss and thank you. I'm just going to skip the whole thing. I'm sure it was a great move, mate. Not my thing. That's a penalty to the Dragons. That's huge. Only a 6-point game here. Penalty to the Dragons. For inside 10 meters. No, I'm not even talking about that one. Mitchell. More of a regular, mate. More of, speaking about a regular, in regards to interesting character. 14.5 minutes to go here of the game. The Dragons with the ball. They'll beat the 45 on the night side of the field. What about Titanic? there we go. There it is, folks. There it is. Second tackle at the 35. Titanic, what a movie. What a movie, mate. What a movie. And it'll be third tackle here for the Dragons at the 25. Classic China. Makes me cry every time. They both could have fit on the... I don't care about Mythbusters. They both could have fit on it. They could have. They both could have. Gutho goes out to the left-hand side. Lucha Leilua, then off to Val Holmes. And Val Holmes, the 15, gets the offload away to Gutho. They're only down by 6. Gutho here at the 15. He steps. He slips. He's over. 4 tackle. Think about the poor horses. Okay. 4 tackle. And Hamish Stewart goes through. Gets the offload away. Touched by the Knights. 7 tackle set coming up here for the Dragons. 0 tackle, 5 meters out. If the Dragons score here, we have a tied game with a converted try. Don't cough it up, Dragons. Gutho does over Dan Gagai, and they're going to be 5 meters away first tackle. Tiger Hood with the $5 donation says this is for the 10 out of 10 movie selection by the chat. Some great selections here, except for the Minecraft movie, but to each their own. Second tackle, 5 meters away. And now it's going to be Atkinson. Atkinson, 3 meters out from the line. Third tackle, 13 minutes to go. So this is, why did they even get on the Titanic? Had they not watched the movie? Exactly right. How did you not know about the Titanic? How did you not know about the Titanic sinking? It makes me, it really is silly. Makes me sick, really. Third tackle. He's going to have to come up for a HIA here. The big number 19 for the Knights. He is going to have to come out here for a HIA. Now, that's not Manalua, is it? Number 19 for the Knights is Francis Manalua. It is. So the Dragons are at the 10, and Hamish Stewart's going to be 3 meters away. Don't disrespect the Minecraft movie. Only those who have watched it know it's a timeless classic. All I know is Chicken Jockey, just because of all the nutsos at the movie cinemas. The cinemas going crazy and throwing popcorn everywhere. Good on him, but Lucha Leilua. Oh, he's told himself. He gets a great offload away to Toby Couchman. Oh, that's an obstruction if you don't go down. Fifth tackle at the 8. Fifth tackle at the 8. They go out to Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson over the top. Set to 2. I don't think that's played in for the Knights. It should be a Knights ball to 10. Correct. Underwhelming end of the set there. They just got a little bit too leery for mine. Can't Saints hold the bloody ball. It's not hot potato. Like, they're trying. I'll tell you right now, this Dragon, I've seen many times this year, I see very, very frequently that this Dragons team doesn't look like they're trying. I can tell you right now, this team today is trying to win this game. They are trying to win this game. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's panning out by any stretch of the imagination, but they are giving it their damn well best. I don't think they're going to win it, but they are. Dragons getting cheeky, but give them credit. At least they're giving it some. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. Oz just beat Bangladesh by 7 runs. Amazing. I always love hearing that we beat Bangladesh by 7 runs after a... Didn't we lose the ODI series 2-1? Or is that still the ODI series? So they'll go to the right-hand side. 24-meter game from Newcastle's not good. So the Dragons are going to get this ball to 10. That is not a good set there from Newcastle. And the Dragons will play this out to Tyrell Sloan at the 25, and it'll be first tackle. Well, this was a good kick. Has Fletcher Hunt came on? Well, Fletcher Hunt's not going to come on unless there's an injury. What's the point of bringing on a back? For what reason? You got Fletcher Sharp there. You got Sando Smith. You've got Bradman Best and Greg Martiu, Dom Young, and Dane Gagai. Like, there's no... Fletcher Hunt's not coming on unless there's an injury. Set to 2 is going to be at the 40. Didn't even realise there was cricket on, to be honest. Mate, no one really does this time of the year. 4th tackle at the 45. 10 minutes to go to the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Don't forget, we'll be live at 4:30 in the morning your time for Australia versus the USA. Gutherson underneath to Val Holmes. Val Holmes with a strong run to the 30. Oh, he nearly lost that ball. 5th tackle. We'll be live for Australia versus the USA. They will kick this ball across into the 5, set to 2. Touches it, passes it back. Dragons! Dragons! It's a try for, I think, Dylan Egan of the Dragons. It's 22-20 with a kick to come. 22-20 with a kick to come. Oh my gosh, Knights, I can smell a scam. I can smell a scam. I can smell a fat scam about to be dropped on your forehead right now. This is crazy. It is 22-20 with a kick to come. But it's a kick from the sidelines, a tough kick. Knights, field goal kickers. Maybe a Sando Smith. For the Dragons. Oh, no, is it? Oh, Daniel Atkinson can kick a field goal. Yeah, Atco can. Put us on fraud now. Well, here we go. Here we go. It's a big kick coming up here for the Dragons to tie this one up. You're on fraud alert, Brenton. You're on major fraud alert right now. You are on fraud alert, son. And trust me, if you lose it, it'll be a fast track to scam. Val kick field goals for the Cowboys. Yeah, Val can definitely kick a field goal. Wow, they back. Just like a... Okay, so we're going to have to time you out for 5 minutes of that one. Let's keep it reasonable, right? All right, let's keep it reasonable, bro. So 8.5 minutes left. A massive conversion. Can you believe it? The Dragons may be about to tie this bad boy right on up. You are getting Damien cooked right now. Bit old Damo cooked. You just got Damo cooked. From the sideline. Big kick for the Val. Big kick for the Val. Big. Oh, it's off the post. And he's missed it. It's off the post and he has missed it. It's going to be a 2-point game. Gee whiz, Knights. Gee whiz. You have gotten through by the skin of your teeth, but there is still 8.5 minutes to go here. Valentine Holmes has missed the conversion. That's his second conversion miss. He would be feeling it right now. Wasn't an easy kick, though. What are we going, Newey? You're going fraud alert with a chance of a scam. Always says, yo, chat, come on, Dragons. What a complete knobhead. Who's a knobhead? You calling me a knobhead or are you calling Val Holmes a knobhead? If you're calling me a knobhead, why? If so, then we'll have a crack at the Dragons for you if you'd like. Lucian Lewis going to get this ball into the 25 on second tackle. Knights up by 2 with less tries scored than the Dragons. Yep. That is the case. Yeah, you are right because there are 2 penalties for the Knights that's winning them the game right now. Oh, they are winning this game currently off of a very controversial penalty too. Not one Newey chant. It's a great point. Brenton, I've always somewhat disagreed with the noise that people talk about. Chess is 8 minutes left. Yes, 7.5 minutes to go here. 7.5 minutes to go. Atkinson goes high. I've always relatively disagreed with the noise. I think that when the Knights are going well, the Newcastle's pumping. But when the Knights aren't going well, I do think that Knights fans do try to claim things that aren't necessarily true. And the Knights are going well right now, so realistically, you should be hearing pumping noise. Cook will score the winner on the black dot. Voodoo Powers. No Voodoo Powers here, but that'd be a massive demo cooked. And now the Knights, they got this ball to the 40 on 4 tackle. Val Holmes miss in front, going to cost him. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the miss in right in front. Oh, dude. Oh, dude, the miss from right in front is so brutal right now. He can kick a 2-point field goal, though. I remember Val kicking the 2-point field goal against the Sharks when he was playing for the Cowboys, and that was the first week of the finals, and it knocked the Sharks out of the finals at home. Remember that? Val Holmes can slap a 2-pointer. He can slap a 2-point field goal. Second half completion rate, Newcastle 100%, Dragons 94%. Both teams' completion rate in this game has been unreal. What a start to this week of games. At least not a blowout for now. Well, not for now. 6 minutes ago. It's definitely not a blowout. It's a 2-point game. 22-20 to the Newcastle Knights with 6 minutes to go. Dragons right-hand side. Dragons are away. Taking down the 40 on fit tackle. Good run, though. Are they going to go for a 2-pointy? No. Daniel Atkinson puts it up into the air. High kick. Good chase. Dragons will... What the hell is Jacob Little doing? Dude, you're obviously not trying to catch that ball in the full. Why have you put your hands out there? I'll start with Newcastle. I can't hear you, mate. I can't hear you. I know I'm in Vietnam, but I can't hear you right now, man. Come on, I need you louder. I can hear motorbikes outside, but I can't hear you. Brenton, you got to be louder, mate. Come on. First tackle out the 20. I'm telling you, if Australia score in the 90th minute tomorrow against the USA, you'll hear me in Jupiter. Second tackle in for the Knights at the 25. Oh, bad play the ball there. Whoa, they got lucky. Third tackle at the 40. Tomorrow, our streams tomorrow are just nuts, man. Australia versus USA, Scotland versus Morocco, Brazil versus Haiti, Turkey versus Paraguay, straight into Tigers versus Dolphins. Oh, Dom Young's away. Dom Young's away. Dom Young's away. This is it. This is it. This is it. Dylan Brown taking down the 5. It's a try-saving, game-saving tackle there from Jacob Little. They go to the left-hand side. Can the Knights put this game to bed? They get this ball through. That's not played at. No, Dragons ball. Tyrell Sloan. He can get away here. Tyrell Sloan moving. He's still pushing. Taking down to the 5 on first tackle. And then after that Paraguay versus Turkey game, we will go straight into Tigers Dolphins. And then we'll have a 15-minute break before Titans versus Panthers. And then we'll have Bulldogs Manly to finish up the day. Well, what a big day we have tomorrow. Jacob Little with a try-saving and game-saving tackle. The only issue was that he shouldn't have put his hand out for that knock-on before. 4 tackle in for the Dragons to the 40. 4 minutes to go. You've got to start chancing the arm here, lads. They go to the left. Out to Leilua. Right through the middle for Tyrell Sloan. Take the 2-point shot here now, Val. You take the 2-point shot right now, Val. No? Okay, apparently not. Daniel Atkinson's going to put that ball up into the air. I would have set up Val for a 2-pointer there. Setu 2 is going to knock that ball on. Setu 2 is going to knock that ball on. I don't understand why they're not setting up for a 2-point field goal. You could have had 2 opportunities at it. When's the actual kickoff time with the Aussie game? I'll set my alarm. 5 a.m. is when the game starts. 4:30 a.m. is when I start live. We'll be sitting up and talking about it for about half an hour beforehand because it's going to get hectic tomorrow. The Knights aren't even competing for the ball in these last few kicks, by the way. First tackle at the 23. And they give it off to Francis Manulalua. He'll be the 30. And then, then I'll get a couple of hours sleep after the NRL action. And then we'll be straight into the Netherlands game. And the Germany game on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Before we get 3 games of Rugby League again. I won't even know my own name by the end of this weekend. I might actually even do, Chili Dono streams, by the end of the weekend, just to keep us, flying. Keep the energy up, throw water in my face every wrong call I get. Not competing for the ball sounds like last year. They're not competing for the ball. Knights are going to get probably away with quite a lucky win here, because again, they've scored less tries than the Dragons today. And it's a penalty to the Knights. Well, I'd consider take the 2 here, make it 4. That forces them to score. Sleep stream. You might start getting them. Oh, dude, that's such a soft penalty, dude. Such a soft penalty. It's consistent, but it's such a soft penalty. So the Knights aren't going to go for the 2. I would have said, you know what? Screw ya. I'm going to take the 2. I'm going to go up by 4. I'm going to force you to score a try. If you score a try, well played, you've earned it. If you don't, well, you've lost. I'm going to take the 2-point field goal option away from you. I would have gone for the 2. Coffee with 4 sugars, a custard. Mate, I'm going to be slapping that many coffees tomorrow. It's going to be sickening. Oh, that's going to be a strip. That's a 1-on-1 strip. It's Dragons ball. It's Dragons ball. Josh Kerr. It's going to be first tackle for the Dragons, and they're going to be at their own 15. First tackle. What a strip there. The Dragons will get a full set here. This will be their last set, though, unless they can get a repeat. And then they only get a couple of tackles here. Second tackle at the 25. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Dragons at the back to Kyle Flanagan. Lucian Leilua. Leilua has been dangerous when he's been on. And I'm telling you, Leilua's been good for you guys this year. I promise you. From a neutral fan, I'm telling you, Leilua's been good for you this year. Out to the right. Well, Jacob Little, not a good run there. 4 tackle at the 50. You're going to get a 2-point field goal away. Val Holmes can kick it if they try to set up for it. Lucian Leilua runs back into the middle of the field. Gets that ball offloaded. Gets it offloaded again. Couchman still going here. 5th tackle at the 40. You've got to go for the 2-point field goal right now, Val. Val, you've got to go for the 2-point field goal right now. Why are you looking right? Why are you looking right? You're amazing, Dragons. You are amazing that you're not taking a 2-point field goal there. Amazing. Val has kicked it before. They're going to let it bounce. Dragons! Oh, has he scored? No way. Oh my gosh, Kyle Flanagan nearly just came up with the most miracle play of all time. Oh, Jared Sutton's even disappointed. Oh, Dragons. Oh my gosh. Oh, there might be a penalty too. They're going to say on-field angle's fine. Is there a push here? This might be the saving grace because I don't think he catches this ball. Tyrell Sloan doesn't touch it. There's no touch from Tyrell Sloan. There's no touch from Tyrell Sloan here. There's no touch there. There's no touch here from Tyrell Sloan. You can see there's no touch. Yeah, playing on. 18 seconds to go here. At the 5. Then Kyle Flanagan steps on the inside. Bradman Best, will he push him here? Oh my gosh, he was so close. That is the Dragons season in a nutshell, folks. They were literally centimeters from scoring the game winner with 18 seconds to go. Unfortunately, Dragons fans, you are not going to be winning this one today. You've fought resiliently. You fought hard. You put them on fraud alert. I don't give a shit that they're going up to 3rd place for the time being. You are staying on fraud alert. But well done, Dragons. I know you're going to lose this one, mate. You got so close. Where we says we go to extra time. Unfortunately, it's not going to be possible, mate. The Knights will just run out this 18 seconds. It was a knock-on from the Dragons. Mitchell says, someone tell the Dragons there's no benefit to tanking. Unfortunately, Val Holmes has literally lost this game for the Dragons. Unfortunately, he has. He missed a kick from basically right in front. Look, the win is all that matters. The win is all that matters, but it is a scary one here for the Knights. Nah, no penalty, Jess. No penalty. The final score will end 22-20 to the Knights. They will take whatever they can damn well get. They will go into 3rd position. It was terrifying stuff if you are a Knights fan. Dragons, unfortunately, you will stay in last, and you have to be the biggest anti-Titans fan tomorrow. You need to be the biggest Panthers fan, because if the Titans win, they will be essentially 4 wins above you. They will be literally 3 wins above you, but they'll be 4 wins above you with points differential if they win tomorrow. So you need to be a Panthers fan tomorrow for sure. But Knights, I know you're going to be in 3rd, but I'm telling you, I'm leaving you on fraud alert for a week. I'm telling you. I'm telling you that you will be there. I'm telling you. Val Holmes sent to Douglaston 2 to 3 years. So bloody proud of the boys tonight. We had a crack and nearly got the win. Well done, Brent, on the win. Yeah, look, you had a crack. And it looked like it was going to get ugly in the first 10 minutes, but you just blew it away. You know, you just blew it away and came back into the game. And you worked hard. You done good. You didn't fall away in that last 20 like you usually do. I think you should be proud of the effort for sure. Tiger Hood with the $2 donation says, hit a small multi. Good stream. Appreciate you, Tiger Hood. Well, we've got a big day tomorrow. Like I said, guys, massive day tomorrow. We start up at 4:30 a.m. your time for Australia versus the USA. And then 45 minutes after that, we'll be into Scotland versus Morocco. And then right after that, we'll be live for Brazil versus Haiti. And then right after that, we're going to be live for Turkey versus Paraguay. And then immediately after that, and I mean immediately, we're live for Tigers versus the Dolphins. A 15-minute break into Titans versus the Panthers. And then we finish up the day with the Manly Seagulls travelling to Accord to take on the Canterbury Bulldogs. So tomorrow's a massive day, guys. I'll see you then. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Get around your Knights. You got to win, but at what cost? Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.